Any thunderstorm that crosses the area today can bring heavy rain and gusty winds. Severe weather is most likely late this afternoon into this evening with damaging winds, large hail, even tornadoes. Otherwise, it'll be windy and warm today with variable clouds and a high of 82, and then clear and cooler with a low of 53 overnight. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Heather, thanks very much. The rain has stopped for the moment here downtown. Is very lightly falling. Cardinal baseball in Pittsburgh at 5:40 this evening. We'll have a preview in 15 minutes.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is applauding the Secret Service after Saturday night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
They said, please go down on the floor. So I went down, and First Lady went down also.
The president on CBS's 60 Minutes. The 31-year-old suspect is expected to make his first court appearance in Washington, D.C. today. Correspondent Bradley Blackburn.
Investigators say the California teacher boarded a train from Los Angeles to Washington on Tuesday and checked into the Hilton Hotel on Friday. Law enforcement sources say the alleged gunman intended to target the president and other government leaders, and that minutes before the shooting, he posted a so-called manifesto.
Our senior White House correspondent, Weijia Jiang, who is president of the Correspondents Association, was sitting next to the president Saturday night.
I wasn't sure what happened. I thought it was protesters in the crowd, which is something we are very used to. Yeah. But I didn't see any more gathering like that. And then I saw the SWAT officers coming toward the head table. And when I heard the word down, 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 I knew that there was an active threat.
Officials say the Secret Service agent hit during the shooting was treated for bruising at a hospital and later released. President Reagan survived the shooting outside that same building, the Washington Hilton, in 1981. The British royals will arrive in Washington today.
I'm Vicky Barker in London. British and American security teams worked through the night to make sure King Charles and Queen Camilla's visit to the U.S. can go ahead as planned, despite Saturday's shooting incident. President Trump will be greeting the royal couple at the White House at the start of their 4-day visit, which includes a White House state dinner and a speech to Congress.
At least 2 people were killed when tornadoes tore through northern Texas. Stephanie Bryan's home took a hit when an EF1 touched down in Springtown.
It was shaking. We were in the middle of the hallway because, there's no interior rooms in a mobile home. It was scary because you could actually feel the floor shaking. The underpinning is gone from the house and stuff.
A dying man reflects on the meaning of life. 54-year-old former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse tells CBS 60 Minutes Scott Pelley.
I have pancreatic origin cancer that is metastasized a number of places. So I've got lung, vascular, liver, other. Liver's pretty far along.
You have 5 cancers.
Yes, sir.
Sasse says he quit his job because there was too little substance in the Senate and too much time away from his wife and their 3 children. Gas prices inching up again. A gallon is about $4.11 today. Dow futures down 52. This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
It is now 6:03 and we still have rain in the region. It's 62 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The chance of severe storms is high today and tonight with torrential rains, flash flooding possible, strong tornadoes, and large hail.
The storm system has a huge track, so both Missouri and Illinois are affected.
AccuWeather meteorologist Chad Merrill says this storm goes from I-80 in Davenport, Iowa to south of St. Louis.
Definitely have at least 3 ways to receive notifications of warnings into the first part of Tuesday morning.
Chad, explain to people, we hear a lot of times about, well, it wasn't a tornado, it was a straight line wind. That can be pretty dangerous too.
Oh, absolutely. That's a very good point because you don't need a tornado to produce a massive amounts of damage. You can have a squall line of storms that produce similar wind gusts that flatten homes and trees over a large area. So it does not need to be a tornado to cause devastation. Squall lines are an example, and they're very well could be a squall line of thunderstorms that come through with embedded tornadoes.
Merrill says another example of a widespread, wide-scale event usually happens in the summer, and it's called a derecho,
which are thunderstorm clusters that can produce winds of 80 miles per hour that run a large span of area.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, Ackerman, Missouri, and Illinois preparing for the severe weather. They have crews on standby ready to restore power when the danger is past.
You want to have that checklist out now ahead of the storm. That way you're well prepared.
And Ackerman spokesman Brian Brecht tells KMOX they are making investments to fortify the electrical grid, thereby limiting the number of outages, or at least trying.
We call it storm hardening and make it prepare. But sometimes when we get these excessive high winds, even some of our system, that's been fortified and can be ready to go. Sometimes Mother Nature has another idea.
Things to remember: have all of your devices charged, gas up your car, have cash on hand in case you can't access ATMs. Remember your medicine, pets' medicine, as well as non-perishable food, and a gallon of water for every person. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A St. Louis man is being held in jail without bond after allegedly killing a bicyclist with his car.
St. Louis City Police say they found hit-and-run suspect Edward Duncan hiding underneath a bed. On Saturday, prosecutors charged the 50-year-old Duncan with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. According to court documents, Duncan told officers he had a run-in with a bicyclist earlier Thursday night, then went after him and struck the man with his car in a Dutchtown neighborhood. Our partners at Fox 2 spoke with South St. Louis resident Alicia Andrews for a reaction.
I think it's great that they found who it was, because I think he should pay for what he did.
The victim's name has not been released yet. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, it looks like the rapid expansion of urgent cares in the region is over for now. Total Access Urgent Care, the biggest operator of urgent cares in the region, has closed 5 of its clinics due to lack of patients. 3 of those locations opened less than a year ago: Webster Groves, Kirkwood, and U City. The Ellisville and Chesterfield locations have closed as well, according to the Business Journal. Nationwide, urgent care visits are down. A 2025 study showed that urgent care visits declined 12% from 22 to 23, while the number of clinics had doubled between 2014 to 23.
It is now 6:07. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the roadways. There's probably going to be standing water. Just be careful, and lightning and thunder rolling through. We'll be back with the latest next on Total Information AM.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
I'm Kiara Palazzolo,
VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
All right, Roger Brand, let's get it started here at 610 Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, the only place we have a jam of any consequence is on eastbound 70 right now, and that's from that jackknife semi crash that happened earlier. It's completely off the roadway. I saw some video from our partners at Fox 2 there, but they have the right lane shut down, and I'm not sure how long it'll take them to drag it out. It could even be stuck in the mud. So there's a jam approaching Air Flight through Natural Bridge right now on eastbound Highway 70. That's the only eastbound 70 delay you have. Eastbound 64, it's kind of slow approaching Lindbergh through Clayton Warson. Northbound 270, a little slowdown approaching Manchester. That crash we had with a car into the Rock Bluff Hole north of 44, not bothering anybody at this time. Northbound 55, a little slow right through 141 at the Merrimack in the work zone there, and it's also a little slow at Butler Hill. There's that other slowdown just past 4500 Broadway again, where we had an earlier incident as you make your way into the city. Other than that, the rest of the highways right now are doing pretty well on the Missouri side. On the Illinois side, I do see some slow traffic. Eastbound 64 passing 161 in the New Baden area as well. Next update at 620 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer. Though thunderstorms can be around at any time today with gusty winds and heavy rain, severe weather is likely late in the day, high 82.
It is currently rainy and 62 degrees with a thunderstorm moving through downtown St. Louis.
It is 612. A group of cities in St. Louis County are exploring consolidating fire departments in order to save costs. The city of Clayton is leading the study and says they have about a half dozen other cities already interested. Their mayor, Bridget McAndrew, says the union is also involved in the study.
The union has been involved in every discussion that we have. They absolutely understand that costs have gone up exorbitantly, and it's becoming harder and harder for municipal fire departments to be able to pay their firefighters a wage in order to keep up with fire districts.
McAndrew says the list of cities involved are Clayton, Richmond Heights, Maplewood, Webster Groves, and Shrewsbury.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page and Police Chief Kenneth Gregory will be holding a ribbon-cutting ceremony for St. Louis County's new Mid-County Public Safety Complex. That new facility in Maryland Heights will serve as the home for Police Precinct 2, as well as new headquarters for the Fusion Intelligence Center, Criminal Intelligence, Regional Information and Intelligence Center, and Property Control. The new facility is named after Detective Antonio Valentine, who died in the line of duty.
Viral video showing a large fight between young people at Six Flags opening the 2026 season in Eureka Saturday. Some 30 police officers responded, including from surrounding areas. There are reports that young male teens wearing face masks stood throughout the park, verbally threatening Six Flag patrons. Police have not released any information on whether there were arrests.
We could learn more from Eureka Police today about that viral fight among teens at Six Flags. 30 officers responded. On Friday, Michael Calhoun had spoken with the new operator of the park, Enchanted Park CEO James Harhigh, about starting the season without a chaperone policy.
We all have to be respectful, and I just hope everybody will be respectful, and if they're not, we'll be showing them out the door, and then
if that policy doesn't work, then we'll be more strict on the other items as we go forward.
Harhai tells us, quote, if the market proves that they can't behave themselves, then we'll probably have to follow the trend that's going around the industry.
What is the one big financial mistake prospective college students make?
That question was posed to Allison Notter with the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. She tells Missouri Net waiting too long to file for aid through FAFSA is the answer.
It often is the key to unlock a lot of Missouri state aid. And it's free, and it takes about 30 minutes, and it's not too late.
She says currently the priority deadline has passed, but college students next year who have not applied still should, because it gives schools the knowledge and opportunity to provide a financial aid package to you if you qualify. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Let's get into this third inning. A positive thing off the bat of J.J. Weatherholt.
Off the third inning against Hancock, and the pitch is hammered to right field. I think he got it. At the wall, and it's gone. Just over the wall. Home run number 5 for J.J. Weatherholt. And the Cardinals draw first blood. The crowd loves it, and it's 1-0.
J.J. continues to swing the bat well, the home run there, but the problem is nobody's on base, and the Cardinals had some issues offensively yesterday. It was not the problem on Saturday when they bashed 5 home runs against the Mariners and still lost the game. 11-9 they fell. Well, this time it was another 3-2 ball game. That's the way baseball goes. This one a closer pitching matchup as Michael McGreevy ended up going 6 innings. That's what the Cardinals needed. But he allows 1 run on 5 hits, walks no one, strikes out 6, and doesn't get run support. The Cardinals aren't able to do anything for him. Matt Swanson gave up a run in the 7th, and JoJo Romero a home run in the 9th that proved to be the game winner. A blast for the Mariners that gave them an opportunity to overtake the Cardinals, and they did just that. Final score was 3-2, and the Cardinals, after all of that, were swept in 3 games. They were all close, but it's not enough for manager Ollie Marmol and crew. Here's Marmol after the game talking about McGreevy.
Yeah, we definitely needed it based on yesterday, and he did exactly that, man. He used everything and kept them off balance. For him to be able to give us some length today was necessary. So solid job by him for sure. All his pitches were on. He was able to land the curveball. The changeup was a good pitch. Got some swing miss on that, but just overall, man, really nice job.
What do you take out of a series where it's 2 1-run games and a 2-run game, and you guys are obviously competitive in 3 kind of different styles of ball game?
Yeah, it sucks that you don't win one of those. But when you look at each game individually, man, there's a lot of positives, and not just to sugarcoat it. But if you told me we're going to keep them to 3 runs in 2 of the games that we played against them with that lineup, I'd take our chances. And we did exactly that. The game yesterday, they had trouble keeping us in the park. We had trouble getting outs. It was just a back and forth that they ended up out executing. But overall, I thought we saw a lot of positives over that 3-game span. It just stinks not to be able to take one.
Cardinals lose the game 3-2. They're on the road at Pittsburgh tonight for a 5:40 start. We'll have it for you right here on KMOX. In the NBA playoffs yesterday, it was a win for the Houston Rockets. They beat the Lakers and kept their season alive for another day. 115-96. Lakers lead that series 3-1. Boston just drops the hammer on Philadelphia. 128-96. was the final in Philly. St. Louis and Jason Tatum had a monster game. 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 11 assists for Tatum, the Chaminade product. And Boston is up 3-1 in that series now. San Antonio goes up 3-1 on Portland with a 114-93 victory. And Toronto beat Cleveland 93-89. SLU is pursuing some big men for their roster for the upcoming season. We're going to have an update on the transfer portal coming up. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, it was Boston losing at home to Buffalo 6-1. Sabres take a 3-1 series lead. Tampa Bay and Montreal are even at 2 apiece after the Lightning won on the road 3-2. Anaheim goes up 3-1 on Edmonton with a 4-3 overtime win, and Colorado advances to the next round, sweeping LA with a 5-1 victory. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis. It's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now 6:21 and time for your next check of traffic and weather. It's a stormy morning. We'll keep you posted as things roll through. Let's see if traffic is rolling through. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the weather's bound to slow the traffic down. In fact, in some places, it's jamming it as well, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd. The one jam we have that's still out there is eastbound 70, just past the airport, the Natural Bridge exit there at the east end of the airport. Right lane's blocked where you had that jackknife semi from earlier this morning. A solid jam back between Cypress and Airflight as you approach Airflight on eastbound 70 right now. Southbound 170, south of Page, down through toward Delmar. Looks like an incident there. It's slow, not jammed. Eastbound 64. They had that minor, I couldn't tell if it was stall or crash, but the right lane was blocked east of Lindbergh. 64, just a little slow at Lindbergh right now. Northbound 55, you've got some slow traffic right through 141 in the work zone there up to the Merrimack. And then again from Bayless up to River to Pear. They did clear that incident we had past 4500 Broadway, so things are improving at that point. I'm seeing a pretty good-sized jam. It could be signal problems on eastbound 30 at Little Brennan. Traffic's jammed back pretty close to Dillon Road right now. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling weather desk, we're just seconds away from a forecast from AccuWeather meteorologist Chad Merrill with Maria Kina. But for right now, looking at this radar, we do have heavy rain falling in the Metro East, especially Edwardsville down into Mascoutah. That's about the track of it, with a little bit lighter rain in Collinsville, O'Fallon, and Belleville. Here in downtown St. Louis, the rain really picking up from downtown west to Clayton. Heavy rain up into Jennings, Bellefontaine Neighbors, and otherwise rain falling throughout the St. Louis area and heavier stuff to come. AccuWeather's Heather Zaire, and you'll hear from Chad here in just a moment, calling for damaging winds, large hail, even tornadoes in these storms later this afternoon and evening, with a high today of 82. It's 62 right now.
Highest tornado risk is from the Interstate 80 corridor near Davenport all the way south of St. Louis.
The likelihood of severe weather in the bi-state region today and tonight is high. AccuWeather meteorologist Chad Merrill says there is a large area at risk for these long-track tornadoes.
Another concern, nighttime tornadoes when people really can't see them.
What folks need to be mindful of, first of all, these storms will produce prolific amounts of rain. So you'll probably see the rain before any type of severe weather. However, that being said, that's not the only precursor to a potential tornado. The wind picking up pretty quickly outside of your location would be a sign. So if you see the trees swaying in the wind, that's a sign. Also, as these storms approach, you might hear what sounds like a freight train. That's an indication that the tornado is very close by. So those are some of the precautions or some of the things to listen to. Very well could be a squall line of thunderstorms that come through with embedded tornadoes within that squall line. Another example of a large, widespread, wide-scale type of event that produces damage is in the summer we see these things called derechos, which are thunderstorm clusters that can produce winds of 80 miles per hour that run a large span of area across parts of the Midwest in the summer that produce prolific amounts of damage. So those two types of systems, squall lines and derechos, can produce as much or even more damage than a tornado.
That's what you're looking at with what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, so there is that very high potential for a squall line, and embedded within that squall line, there will be several tornadoes as well. Before that squall line even starts to develop, there will likely be storms that produce a couple of tornadoes even out ahead of that squall line.
Chad, you mentioned about the late afternoon, evening, the night, even into Tuesday. That's a pretty long time, so it doesn't sound like it's a fast mover.
Yeah, so first of all, there's going to be a few thunderstorms early. Those thunderstorms that come through could have a good bit of thunder and some lightning, but likely not wind. The severe risk will come later in the day, afternoon, and through the early part of Tuesday is when we have that risk, significant risk for damaging winds, tornadoes, and large hail. Another thing to keep in mind, you mentioned earlier the rain-wrapped tornadoes. It's very difficult to see, or these tornadoes if they have a lot of moisture around them. There's also the risk for flash flooding in these storms as well. So these storms come with a full gamut of threats. The threats wind down late tomorrow night through the first part of Tuesday, and then Tuesday is pleasant with lower humidity and temperatures right around 71. So we have that time span from morning when the first couple of thunderstorms come through, get a little bit of a break, and then afternoon through the early part of Tuesday is when we expect that severe weather to roll through the St. Louis area.
What about Metro East, our Illinois counties, St. Clair and Madison, those areas?
Yes, those areas are also included in the highest tornado risk. I mentioned that it runs from I-80 to I-70. The eastward extent goes all the way into central parts of Illinois, so Springfield, all the way down to areas just to the east of St. Louis. So it's pretty much your entire listening area is at risk for long, tracked, and strong tornadoes.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. Budweiser, raise a glass to the great sport that is Major League Baseball. Budweiser's 150 years old. 1876 is when they started Budweiser. Well, guess what? So is baseball. 1876, 150 years of the great game of baseball. And gosh, being at Busch Stadium yesterday, what's the first thing I reached for when my eyes fell onto that field with that sunny sky? Oh yeah, an ice cold Budweiser at Busch Stadium yesterday. It was a good time. I might have had more than one. Had a great time watching the game and enjoying an ice cold Budweiser. They do go hand in hand. That clean, crisp taste that is Budweiser, just delicious. And it has been that case. Rice, barley, hops, and filtered water that make it the king of beers. Crack open a Bud, the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. Budweiser, this Bud's for you.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Dave Glover right now. Buy 2 windows and get 2 free and 24 months with no payments or interest plus $500 off. Call 314-334-2522. Like you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This week, buy 1 room of carpet, get 1 cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
Presented by Worldwide Technology, the BizDash 5K is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, a high-energy corporate race in St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Thursday, May 7th at Energizer Park. Register your team at stlbizdash.com.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
If someone would have came to you at the beginning of the season, beginning of the regular season, and said, hey, Jordan Walker's going to have more home runs, more RBIs, a higher OPS, higher batting average than Shohei Ohtani, what would you say?
Then said you're crazy.
I'll take it. He's having an incredible season. He really, truly is.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It is 6:30 and rain continues to fall in downtown St. Louis. It is 62 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading out the door right now onto the area highways, we still have this one problem. The first problem we had this morning really that caused any jam of any consequence, and that's this crash on eastbound 70 at Natural Bridge. This tractor trailer that jackknifed, and the right lane still blocked, so eastbound 70 has a jam back through Air Flight up the hill from Cypress, I guess, where you start to slow down on eastbound Highway 70. Other than that, there's a couple of little slow spots around Bermuda and right around Goodfellow. Not that big of a deal there. North 270 still looks okay. Out to the west on Highway 30, I'm not sure if there's maybe 1 or 2 signal problems. We have a backup at Gravois Bluffs coming in from not quite Northwest Boulevard, and there's a bigger jam from almost Dillon to Little Brennan. I think that's signal problems. Also, same thing on northbound 141. I think at 13th Street, there's a signal problem. It's jammed back to Romaine Creek on northbound 141. Northbound 55, a slowdown at 141, and then it's busy from about the Union Road overpass. It goes all the way up through Loughborough, and we have a crash on the Illinois side on a westbound 5570 right at the 64 interchange. 5570 right now has a jam back at 203. Next update at 640 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We will have rounds of showers and thunderstorms moving through the area with heavy rain and gusty winds. And then later in the day and into tonight, we're looking at some more really strong storms with large hail, maybe even tornadoes. So just keep the radio close throughout the day and we'll keep you posted. It should clear out overnight. So while the high today of 82, then 53 overnight, the rest of the week much cooler. Tomorrow near 70. We did get a report from Officer Jesse Washington letting us know that he was encountering hail in Jennings. So just be aware of the weather this morning.
A lightning strike is to blame for an early morning house fire near DeSoto. The fire started around 2 a.m. in the garage of a home on a rural road just south of DeSoto. A fire captain with the DeSoto Rural Fire Protection District told Fox 2 the strike caused the fire, which mainly impacted the garage and electrical system of the home. While people were home at the time of the fire, there were no injuries reported.
St. Louis Public Schools announcing the cancellation of all after-school activities and athletic events scheduled for today. That means all aftercare programs within the district buildings will close immediately following dismissal. Transportation will operate at normal schedules if there's no change to dismissal times, and families are encouraged to be mindful of potential weather-related delays to ensure arrangements are in place for students' arrival.
The Fox C6 school district will dismiss classes 3 hours early today due to the severe weather potential. After all after-school activities, practices, and events, they will also be canceled today. Both AM and PM sessions at Donner Early Childhood Center are canceled as well. families should check their email for additional updates or changes.
Ackerman, Missouri, and Illinois making preparations should there be widespread power outages. Spokesman Brian Brecht says crews are standing by.
We've been monitoring the weather closely in Missouri and Illinois and putting together a plan, and we'll follow our logistics plan that we put in place before every single storm. So we will do that.
Brecht says you should fill your car with gas ahead of the storm, charge all your devices, including laptops, and sign up for Ackerman alerts that will provide you with outage information and restoration times. And remember that during any widespread outage, you can't use an ATM, so maybe have some cash on hand. It is 6:34. And that time, the weather, or the news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin, WashU Medicine medical oncologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Jin, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are some of the signs and symptoms of esophageal cancer? When should someone talk to their physician?
The first signs that I typically hear about from my patients, difficulty swallowing. They'll initially start with solids and then progressively get worse. So those are the most alarming signs. And then associated with that, pain upon swallowing. There might be a cough, weight loss. So I think the first step, if you have any alarming symptoms, is talk with your primary care and really ask them if you're appropriate to be screened.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
It is 6:35 and time for your Bloomberg Money Minute. It's sponsored for you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Toyota reported a dip in March sales. Demand slowed down for its top-selling RAV4 ahead of a refresh of the model. Global sales fell 5.8% from a year ago. However, production rose nearly 4%, showing the company is still maintaining output despite the Iran war. Traders are cautious this morning with all eyes on the Middle East. S&P futures are dropping 7 points. Dow futures are down 70. The Federal Reserve will deliver its latest interest rate decision on Wednesday as investors assess the risk of a war-driven inflation shock. Plus, a number of tech giants, including Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft, all report earnings this week. And Home Depot is saying goodbye to complicated phone menus when you call the retailer. Home Depot is rolling out a new artificial intelligence phone system for customer support calls. Instead of navigating long phone menus, customers can simply say what they need in their own words. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The Lederman Law Firm. My family believes strongly in the Lederman Law Firm, and I'm careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. But the Lederman Law Firm, for over 20 years now, we've been working with them. And the reason's simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They make sure your plan works because, let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They sit in a drawer and people just assume everything's going to be fine. Well, at the Lederman Law Firm, it is not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. At the Lederman Law Firm, they build a plan to protect your family and your assets. And then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. That's why we are clients of the Lederman Law Firm, and I recommend them highly. LedermanLaw.com, 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFF greens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
The man accused of opening fire and trying to breach security at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is set to make his first court appearance today. Authorities say 31-year-old Cole Allen left writings outlining his intent, while President Trump says he wants the event rescheduled within the next 30 days. CBS reports the suspect is not cooperating with investigators.
Britain's king and queen arrive in Washington, D.C. today. President Trump and First Lady Melania will host King Charles III and Queen Camilla for a 4-day state visit. Events include a formal arrival ceremony with military honors, a White House state dinner, and a bilateral meeting in the Oval Office. The visit also features cultural events, a tour of the White House grounds, and a student technology showcase led by the First Lady and the Queen.
Sporting history was made in London as the 2-hour marathon barrier has been broken. Sebastian Sawe of Kenya won the London Marathon with a record time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 30 seconds, breaking the previous world record by 65 seconds and becoming the first athlete to run a competitive marathon in under 2 hours. The BBC reports that while marathons have been run under 2 hours before, it's never been done in an official race.
It is 6:40 and time for another check of traffic and weather. And at the moment, it looks like I see some clearing in the cloud cover, but that probably won't last for too long. The forecast is on the way, but let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, they're still wet from earlier rains, at least, that's for sure, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of S&L Coins, and they're still working with this crash in front of the airport with a jackknife semi. The big rig tow truck's on the scene now, but the right lane's still closed. Eastbound 70 just past Natural Bridge. Traffic's jamming between Cypress and Air Flight up to that one. Signal problems, I think, at several points in Jefferson County. Northbound 141 jam from 21 up to Fiedler. I think that's signal problems. Eastbound 30 at Little Brennan and westbound 30, a little bit of a jam there. The eastbound 30 jam, though, goes back to Dillon, and there's also a jam east of Northwest Boulevard to Gravois Bluffs. It could be the same scenario there. Northbound 55, a couple of slow spots. Bayless up through Virginia. Westbound 5570, they cleared that crash at 64. Still a little backup at 203, and then it's slow on 64 from the 70 split to about 3rd Street. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
All right, 641, AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare. I would guess the tricky part here is not necessarily the timing of the storm, but who and where are we going to see the most damage or devastating severe weather in the area?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. We've kind of had our first warning shot here this morning with this kind of broken line of storms that's been coming through. Heavy rainfall has been found with these storms that can cause some at least temporary ponding of water on roadways. We've also had gusty winds in these. Now, the worst conditions, they kind of went across northern Missouri. So the worst of it has been passing north of us. That is still the case over the next couple of hours. We're going to get into a little bit of a lull here for several hours with mostly just some lighter showers around. Then as we get into the later part of the day, especially once we get past about 4 p.m., we're really going to be looking for a possibility for some nasty storms that are going to contain damaging winds. In fact, there can be wind gusts over 80 miles per hour with these storms. Large hail is also a threat. as is a tornado. And it does look like the St. Louis area is kind of in the heart of this severe weather threat for later today, and that'll continue through early tonight. Otherwise, for today, kind of in between these rounds of storms, we'll just have a lot of clouds around. It's windy and warm with a high of 82. Behind the storms, it's clearing and cooler with a low of 53 overnight. Then we're mostly dry tomorrow with sunshine, just a chance for an afternoon thunder shower with a high near 70. We're back in the 60s then, and dry with at least some sunshine for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Right now, 62 in St. Peters, 60 in Florissant, 64 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:43, and we are going to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist again very soon, because it looks actually not bad out right now, but times change. It is now 6:44, and President Trump, in an exclusive interview with 60 Minutes about the White House correspondence shooting, says he wasn't worried. CBS News correspondent Nora O'Donnell spoke with the president.
The president also said in our interview that he will return to this dinner if it can be scheduled within the next 30 days. He said he's busy, but this is an important dinner. It is for the White House Correspondents Association that, through Republican and Democratic administration, presses the president and their administration for press access. That's important. The president did appear after the attack to be more unified sort of in his voice, and he certainly was very reflective in our interview.
The Supreme Court is set to hear arguments in a case involving Monsanto and its Roundup herbicide. At issue is whether federal law shields the company from lawsuits claiming it failed to warn users about potential cancer risks. A lower court upheld a $1.25 million verdict for a man who says he developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after using the product. CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum explains.
The stakes are very high here. There is a possible settlement in the works that could put an end to hundreds of lawsuits against the maker of Roundup. The main issue for today's oral argument, however, is whether state authorities can require warning labels on products that may cause cancer that are more stringent than what the federal government demands through the expertise of the Environmental Protection Agency.
Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, Growing Gardens, and Making Memories. I would think that Michael McGreevy would qualify as heating up. He had a very good outing yesterday. McGreevy threw 98 pitches in 6 innings, so that still is a little high, but he didn't walk anyone. He gave up 1 run on 5 hits in 6 innings of work, 6 strikeouts for McGreevy. That will absolutely do. His ERA is at 2.97 for the season, and the Cardinals could use him going at that rate each and every outing. They're going to need pitchers going deep because who's not? The Cardinal bullpen. Jojo Romero had been a shutdown lefty pitcher for this team without question. But yesterday, he gave up a home run. Ref Snyder got him on a pinch hit home run in the 9th inning. And with that, the Cardinals lost the ballgame 3-2 to the Mariners. The Cardinals saw Ryan Stanek pitch a scoreless 8th in which he struck out the side. But Romero came in the 9th and could not hold the lead, and the Cardinals lost the game 3-2. They got swept by the Mariners. And now with a record of 14-13, they're tied with Milwaukee at 3.5 games out in the National League Central. The Reds lead the way. Cubs are a game out. Pittsburgh 2 out. They host the Cardinals for the next 4. 5:40 start for the Cardinals tonight here on KMOX. It'll be Dustin May pitching for St. Louis, Mason Montgomery, the lefty, for Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Penguins will be hosting the Philadelphia Flyers at the same time tonight. 6 o'clock face-off for the Pens. They're down 3-1 in their series with the Flyers. 8:30 tonight, it's Utah hosting Vegas. The Mammoth up 2-1 in that series. Games from last night. Anaheim beat Edmonton 4-3 in overtime to take a 3-1 series lead on the Oilers. Tampa Bay evened things up with Montreal with a 3-2 road win. Colorado, a 5-1 win over LA. They sweep the Kings in 4 games, and Buffalo crushes Boston 6-1 to take a 3-1 series lead. In the NBA, the Boston Celtics went on the road, beat Philadelphia 128-96. They're up 3-1 in that series. San Antonio goes up 3-1 on Portland. Houston staves off elimination. They're down 3-1 to the Lakers. And it's a 2-2 series now between Toronto and Cleveland after a Raptors victory. And in college basketball, the Billikens are said to be closing in on a local product, actually. Sheik Pearson, who went to John Burroughs. He started last season with Marquette as a freshman, but he is in the portal. And according to multiple reports, including Stu Durando on Substack, they are pushing hard for Pearson. 6'11" big man could be very attractive to this SLU program, they were really starting to add some size here. Alone McKaylee from Colorado, 6'9", and the big man from South Carolina, Elijah Strong, 6'8", 250. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX, St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories, making people very happy with all the different kinds of mulch that they can put in your driveway by delivery, or if you have a pickup truck or a trailer and you want to come on by and get it yourself. They have 9 locations in the St. Louis area. They are St. Louis Composting, and they are outstanding. They don't just have mulch. They have soil with 5% or more organic matter is the gold standard, and they have plenty of it, including that highly coveted Missouri Botanical Gardens soil they sell in bags at St. Louis Composting. They also have compost for your garden this year. 9 retail locations all throughout the St. Louis area, or order online. It's really easy to do. That's what we did. STLcompost.com. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 6:50, and it looks like we have just a small lull in the storms here. It's still rainy and windy out there, but thunderstorm-wise, I'm talking. But we're not done yet, so stay tuned. We'll take a look at the weather in just a moment. Right now, here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only jam we have is still out here on eastbound 70, Debbie, although as I look, it looks like they are towing the semi-way. I see the big rig tow truck here. I'm trying to get a better view of it, but they still have at least the right lane blocked. This is eastbound 70 at Natural Bridge. Yeah, they are just towing it away now, so they should have all lanes open soon, but there's still a jam between Cypress and Air Flight on eastbound 70 right now. Eastbound 70 is also a little slow right at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Not that big of a deal there. I'm still seeing these backups in Jefferson County. I think it may be Signals 30 at Little Brennan. It's jammed back to Dillon. There's also a jam coming through Northwest Boulevard to Gravois Bluffs, and northbound 141 south of 21 up to Fiedler is bumper to bumper as well. Northbound 55 itself, that's just a little slow through Loughborough. It doesn't look that bad. Eastbound 64 just a little slow at the Interbelt, and on the Illinois side, just a little slow down 64 from the 70 split to about 3rd Street. So looking a lot better in other areas at this time. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Ready to refresh your space with furniture that's built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
We are in a bit of a lull in terms of that rain activity. We are in the clear for now, but rounds of showers and thunderstorms crossing the area today. We'll get some here and there, and then what we're really bracing for is late in the day and evening. We're talking definitely between 4 and 8 p.m., but anywhere in that range, storms may be severe, according to AccuWeather's Heather Zaire. Damaging winds, large hail. National Weather Service said you could expect up to baseball-sized hail today, even tornadoes. Otherwise, we're looking at cloudy, windy, and warm today and a high of 82 degrees. Clearing and cooler overnight, a low of 53. And tomorrow, sunshine is back with some clouds and a thunder shower in spots and a high near 70 degrees. Right now, we are getting heavy rain in Wood River and in Edwardsville. Otherwise, most of you are in the clear at the moment. It is 63 degrees.
At 6:53, it's time to check in with our CBS News business analyst, Jill Schlesinger. And Jill, I think, we've been talking about our weather here in the St. Louis region because it's like a roller coaster. You never know from day to day. The temperature's up, it's down, it's up, it's way down. And that's kind of what the economy feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, listen, the news flow certainly feels like that. And here's what I'm trying to make sense of. Talk about a roller coaster. It's almost like what we are telling surveys, like we consumers, what we're telling the surveys is that we feel terrible. I mean, really bad. So like the lowest level ever. So just can I put that in context? Right now, according to the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, we feel worse today than we felt during COVID, than we felt during the Great Recession when millions of people were losing their homes, than we felt after 9/11, than we felt during the late 70s, early 80s. Like that's what we are telling surveyors right now. Now, maybe we're a bunch of whiners. It's possible. I'm going to put it out there. But I also kind of feel like we must be overdoing it because when you look at the spending data, we see that consumers continue to spend. So usually it would be like, I feel so horrible, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to cuddle up, right? Now we're seeing, I feel so horrible and I keep spending. So we're trying to make sense of this. How is it possible you can feel bad and still spend? Well, maybe you say, well, you know what? I do feel bad, but I own a home. I'm so lucky. And that home value has gone up, or I have a really cheap mortgage interest rate. So I feel bad, but my expenses are okay. And I'm keeping in check, and maybe I have a retirement account or an investment account and it's making money. So like my stuff that I own is going up in value. Even if I feel bad, I'm going to spend some money. That explains some people. Some people just feel like, you know what? I feel so bad. And if I have a little bit of extra money, I'm going to buy myself a way to get into that baseball game. I'm going to do something fun because it makes me feel better. And, maybe I'll get a second job and I'll manage it that way. And there are definitely people like that. But it is a strange situation to say, I feel so horrible and still spend so freely.
You can read her at JillOnMoney.com. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. We appreciate you. Have a great day.
Take care.
It's 6:56.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Carpenter's 2-2 pitch. Headed home. Swing and a ground ball to the second baseman. Here's the throw to first. Out at first, and the Cardinals win this one 1-0 as Carpenter's goes the distance.
Chris Carpenter, one of the greatest performances in Cardinals history. Game 5 of the NLDS at Philadelphia in 2011. He did go the distance. He did beat the Phillies, and the Cardinals won the World Championship. And Carp is celebrating a birthday today. Happy 51st birthday, Chris Carpenter.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday, Christine Adams from Grandma and Grandpa Adams. Also, happy 86th to Bob Simpson in Belleville. Also celebrating today are Jim Harper and Glenna Howell.
This is the best birthday ever.
Why would life-saving care require a membership? In a real emergency, are you reaching for your wallet or your phone to call 911? And what if the member helicopter isn't the closest one? What if they don't carry blood on board? What if those differences matter? They do. Arch Air Medical Service is proud to serve Effingham and surrounding communities with life-saving air medical care. Our highly trained crews deliver advanced medicine in the air because when seconds count, capability matters more than a card in your wallet. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. Worried about cost? Here's the truth. The No Surprises Act protects patients with private insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You'll only pay your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. If you have Medicare or Medicaid, similar protections apply. Providers cannot bill beyond those limits. That means no air medical membership is needed. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Let's check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, they've pretty well cleared the crash eastbound 70 past Natural Bridge. Like I said in the last report, they towed the semi away that was jackknifed there, but it still looks like they're at least on the right shoulder. They may still have the right lane blocked. It's just out of my sight. I can see the flashing lights around the bend there. There are still delays, though, from Cypress to that point on eastbound Highway 70. Southbound 270, the ramp lanes coming down to 70 are slow at the Rock Road. We still have these backups in Jefferson County. Eastbound 30 at Little Brennan, jam back to Dillon. It's also backed up Northwest Boulevard into Gravois Bluffs, and northbound 141 approaching 21 up to Fiedler. I believe those are all due to signal problems. Otherwise, right now, the rest of the interstates are looking pretty good. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Thoughts from President Trump on the suspect in Saturday night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
He got caught pretty easily, so I'd say he was pretty incompetent.
Mr. Trump spoke to CBS's 60 Minutes and Nora O'Donnell about writings by the 31-year-old California schoolteacher.
He writes this quote, "Administration officials, they are targets." And he also wrote this, "I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." What's your reaction
Well,
to
I
that?
was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
The suspect is scheduled to make his first court appearance today. Sources tell CBS News he went down a back staircase of the Washington Hilton carrying a bag of weapons. More from senior correspondent Matt Gutman, who was there.
He appeared shocked by the security protocol, writing in part, quote, "I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got is nothing."
Secret Service members who got the president, first lady, and others off the stage of the Hilton to safety haven't been getting paid because of the partial government shutdown. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries tells Fox he's urging lawmakers to approve a funding bill when they reconvene today.
It should be taken up immediately, and it will pass on a strongly bipartisan basis so we can make sure that the Secret Service gets paid.
A Secret Service officer who was hit in his bulletproof vest Saturday has been released from the hospital. Stalled talks on the Iran war are affecting global markets.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk in London, where Brent crude is back above $100 a barrel, trading at $106 on this rocky morning. U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate is up nearly 2%, trading at close to $97 per barrel. The stalled peace talks and resulting concern over the still blocked Strait of Hormuz pushing the price back up.
The average price for gas in the U.S. has climbed a few pennies today to $4.11 a gallon. The shooting in Washington will not stop King Charles and Queen Camilla from making a scheduled visit to the White House today. Jake Atkinson is with Britain's Stop Trump coalition.
British people who are suffering, millions in poverty in this country, a cost of living crisis, will be really, really sickened to see the king, one of the richest people in this country, whining and dining with the man who is actually driving the cost of living crisis.
Dow futures down 41. This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with American Eagle.
It is 7:04, and it looks like we have a lull in the storms that have been moving through overnight and this morning. We still have storms to come. It's 63 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
So what folks need to be mindful of, first of all, these storms will produce prolific amounts of rain.
AccuWeather meteorologist Chad Merrill tells KMOX the severe storms will likely start moving into the bi-state area late afternoon into the night.
You'll probably see the rain before any type of severe weather. However, that being said, that's not the only precursor to a potential tornado. The wind picking up pretty quickly outside of your location would be a sign. So if you see the trees swaying in the wind, that's a sign.
Merrill says that freight train sound is another sign a tornado is very near. And Merrill says it's extremely important to have 3 different ways to receive warnings: regular radio, a weather radio, and a cell phone, and a TV if possible.
St. Louis Public Schools dismissing students early and canceling all after-school activities today following threats of severe weather. The district has announced students will be dismissed at 3 p.m. with all aftercare programs to close immediately following early dismissal. All district events and athletics have been canceled as well.
Several other schools in the St. Louis region are dismissing classes early today due to severe weather threats. The Fox C6 school district will dismiss students 3 hours early today, in addition to canceling all after-school activities, practices, and events. Both AM and PM sessions at Don Earl Early Childhood Center are canceled as well.
The Lincoln County School District announcing they will dismiss students at 2 p.m. today. Wright City School District releasing students between 11 and 1, times fluctuating per school.
A lightning strike is to blame for an early morning house fire near DeSoto. It started around 2 a.m. in the garage of a home on a rural road just south of DeSoto. A fire captain with the DeSoto Rural Fire Protection District told Fox 2 the strike caused the fire, which mainly impacted the garage and electrical system of the home. While people were home at the time of the fire, there were no injuries reported.
Composite poles are designed to flex in the wind.
Ameren, Illinois spokesman Brian Bretsch talking about some of the new upgrades the utility has made in an effort to limit massive power outages.
You would happen to see a heavy wind blowing and you're looking out your window hopefully you're not looking out your window during a tornado, but if you happen to take a peek during just a thunderstorm and the winds are blowing, sometimes you can actually see the tops of those poles moving, and that's what they're designed to do.
That does not mean there will not be power outages, but these new poles can limit them. The storms are predicted to produce strong tornadic, even straight line winds, which can be very destructive.
If you have a power outage, report it to Ameren, Missouri or Ameren, Illinois, and sign up for alerts. That way you can receive updates on your cell phone as to how widespread the outages are and estimates on when power will be restored.
From the KMOX business desk, it looks like the rapid expansion of urgent cares in the region is over for now. Total Access Urgent Care, the biggest operator of urgent cares in the region, has closed 5 of its clinics due to lack of patients. 3 of those locations opened less than a year ago: Webster Groves, Kirkwood, and University City. The Ellisville and Chesterfield locations have closed as well, according to the Business Journal.
Nationwide, urgent care visits are down. A 2025 study showed that urgent care visits declined 12% from 22 to 23, while the number of urgent care clinics had doubled between 2014 to 23.
It is 7:08. We'll take a look at traffic and weather. That's coming up next here on Total Information AM.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. Ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check in with Roger Brand of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are definitely looking better, Tom, on eastbound Highway 70 at the airport. Traffic is still a little slow, though, coming around the Bennett Natural Bridge. To me, it looks like the right lane is at least maybe partially blocked where we had the earlier jackknife semi. So, again, much better than it was, but there's still a little bit of a delay there. Seeing a little bit of a delay. Looks like we have a crash on eastbound 364 near Jung Station. A little bit of a jam up there, some lane blockage involved with that. I still see the delays in Jefferson County. I think it's all signal problems. I'm not sure if they're out or on red flash, but eastbound 30 still has a jam from Dillon into Little Brennan. It's backed up again from Northwest Boulevard into Gravois Bluffs, and northbound 141 from just south of 21 up to Fiedler is bumper to bumper as well. But like I said, the rest of the highways are really not looking all that bad, in pretty good shape. We do have a little slowdown westbound 64 at 159 on the Illinois side, and it looks like there's a train crossing Route 3 at Monsanto, a short jam southbound and northbound. The jam goes back to about Queenie at this time. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather will have rounds of showers and thunderstorms today. Any thunderstorm can bring heavy rain and gusty winds, but severe weather is likely late today into this evening. Watch then for damaging winds, large hail, even tornadoes. Otherwise, variable clouds, windy and warm today with a high of 82. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is currently cloudy and 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. A group of cities in St. Louis County are exploring consolidating fire departments in order to save costs. The city of Clayton is leading the study and says they have about a half dozen other cities already interested. Their mayor, Bridget McAndrew, says the union is also involved in the study.
The union has been involved in every discussion that we have. They absolutely understand that costs have gone up exorbitantly, and it's becoming harder and harder for municipal fire departments to be able to pay their firefighters a wage in order to keep up with fire districts.
McAndrew says the list of cities involved are Clayton, Richmond Heights, Maplewood, Webster Groves, and Shrewsbury.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page and Police Chief Kenneth Gregory will hold a ribbon-cutting ceremony for St. Louis County's new Mid-County Public Safety Complex in Maryland Heights. It'll serve as the new home for Police Precinct 2, as well as new headquarters for the Fusion Intelligence Center, Criminal Intelligence, Regional Information and Regional Intelligence Center, and Property Control. It's named after Detective Antonio Valentine, who died in the line of duty.
At least 100 youngsters engaged in a fight on the first day of the 2026 season at Six Flags Saturday. Eureka Police had several officers respond in an attempt to restore order. Other area police departments provided mutual aid. Social media posts indicated teens inside the park were wearing face masks and were verbally threatening park customers. There were no known reports of injuries. Police have not said if anyone was arrested.
I try to give people the benefit of the doubt as much as possible.
That is Six Flags St. Louis new owner, KMOX's Michael Calhoun, spoke Friday with James Harhigh, CEO of Enchanted Parks, which took over the St. Louis Park from Six Flags about 3 weeks ago. Michael asked him about starting the season without a chaperone policy.
For many of us, Six Flags is our first kind of independent experience. How do you balance that with, these chaperone policies that a lot of parks have and the situations they encounter?
We have a very limited set of patients when it comes to unruly behavior, whether that's a 16-year-old kid, goofing off, or a 50-year-old guy that wants to, yell at somebody. We're not going to put up with anything.
Harhigh says they'll look at it city by city, telling us, quote, if the market proves that they can't behave themselves, then we'll probably have to follow the trend that's going around the industry.
A Washington University professor is running for mayor of Venice. No, not Venice, Illinois, Venice, Italy. Economist Mail Michel. What is it?
Michel.
Why does it say male?
Because I wanted you to know it wasn't a woman.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Michel Boldrin is an American and Italian citizen born in Padua, moved to St. Louis in 2006. The election is May 24th, and Boldrin's campaign has raised about $50,000, though he tells the Business Journal he gives his chances of winning no more than 1%.
One of Boldrin's big concerns is tourism in Venice, once seen as an economic boon, but is now causing rents to skyrocket. Boldrin says it's also placing a huge burden on the fragile city's infrastructure as climate change continues to threaten Venice's future.
Let's check in with the Cardinals and see what's going on with the club as they head to Pennsylvania.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. The Cardinals came close again, but lost a one-run game, 3-2 to Seattle, and it happened on a pinch home run by Rob Refsnyder in the ninth inning.
Another close game against Seattle. Unfortunately, the Cardinals came up short in all three games. They got home runs from Nathan Church, again hit another home run, his fifth home run, and J.J. Weatherholt hit his fifth home run, but just not enough support for Michael McGreevy, who was outstanding.
Seattle went 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position, where the Cardinals went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, leaving 8 on.
Yeah, again, a close game. The Cardinals were winning close games at the beginning of the year. Now they've been coming up short.
Michael McGreevy, another strong 6, but he did not figure in the decision. The Cardinals try to break a 4-game skid in Pittsburgh tonight behind Dustin May. He's 3-2. We're on the air at 4:45. Ricky has the lineups at 5:30 Central. I'll bring you the first pitch at 5:40.
How about this one? The Post-Dispatch reporting yesterday. Tom Timmerman was all over this. Bosnia and Herzegovina's soccer team is going to play in St. Louis against Panama in a World Cup tune-up at Energizer Park. This will be a friendly expected to be played Saturday, June 6th. There is no official announcement on this, But Tom, with the tip there, we have, of course, a heavy Bosnian population here, about 60,000 of them, which would make it the largest concentration of Bosnians outside of Europe. So they could have one heck of a time at Energizer Park watching them play Panama. What a big pickup that would be for St. Louis City SC and the Taylor family. As for the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's the Colorado Avalanche. They have moved on to the next round. They defeated the Kings 5-1 yesterday and swept that series in 4. It's a 3-1 series lead in the West for Anaheim over Edmonton. They beat the Oilers 4-3 in overtime last night. Tampa Bay, a 3-2 win over Montreal, evens that series at 2 games apiece. And Buffalo goes into Boston and whips the Bruins 6-1 to take a 3-1 series lead. As for the NBA playoffs, Toronto 2-2 with Cleveland. San Antonio's up 3-1 on Portland. Boston goes up 3-1 on Philly. And Houston holds off the Lakers, still trailing that series 3-1. Cut of the Game was sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Wayday now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Don't miss a baseball showdown at Busch Stadium when Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers roll into the Lou, May 1st through the 3rd. Kick off the weekend with Friday Night Live and a must-have short sleeve hoodie giveaway. Saturday brings a Mason Wynn bobblehead celebrating his Gold Glove Award. Then Sunday features a sleek blade collar shirt giveaway. Big names, big matchups, and big giveaways all weekend long. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Mason Wynn. Get your tickets at cardinals.com.
The 1-2, and that's grounded up the middle. Diving play. Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He got him.
What's up, Cardinals fans? Mason Wynn here. On Saturday, May 2nd, when we face the Dodgers, you can take home the Mason Wynn Gold Glove bobblehead presented by the Shane Company. It's got my chain, my first gold glove, my whole look, just how I rock it. Plus, a few rare all-gold baubles will be randomly mixed in for 500 lucky fans. This is one you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotion.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 7:20. Let's check traffic and weather, especially weather all morning long. Keep it locked in here to KMOX. Let's get the latest on your ride in from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, the traffic's doing better in spots than it was earlier, Debbie. Weather doesn't look great, but I guess, right now we're doing okay. At least a lull as far as heavy downpours go in the immediate metro area. Eastbound 364, we had that crash at Junk Station. It looks like there's still slow traffic coming in from back, almost back to Youngerman into that area, but not jammed like it was, so that's good. If you're on northbound 270, a little slow down with the 55 for folks merging on. Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, a little busy around Clayton Road. Southbound Ladue down to 64 is busy at a couple spots. Northbound 55 looks good, except the right lanes at Butler Hill. There's a little slowdown at Loughborough. That doesn't look like that big a deal. Still, these backups on 30 eastbound, like Dillon into Little Brennan. There's backed up traffic both ways around Gravois Bluffs. Eastbound's back to Northwest Boulevard there. And northbound 141 approaching 21 up to Fiedler. I think those signals are all either on red flash or just out due to the weather in the area. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, a little slow at 159, and longer delays now. Route 3, a train crossing in Monsanto. Southbound's backed up to 8th Street. Northbound is jammed back to about Judith. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The financial industry is getting rich on baby boomers. Don't be their next victim. Find out the truth of what's really going on in the retirement industry. Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Well, we're in the clear on rain right now, but AccuWeather's Chad Merrill is going to give us the forecast here in just a few seconds on what the tornado activity, possible hail, heavy winds could all entail this afternoon into this evening. That's what's expected. Major storms crossing our area later today after we had a first round this morning. We are going to see damaging winds, large hail, even tornadoes, high of 82 today. And currently, we're in a bit of a lull, not any rain really falling in the area. It's 63 degrees.
The highest tornado risk is from the Interstate 80 corridor near Davenport all the way south of St. Louis.
It is 7:22. The likelihood of severe weather in the bi-state today and tonight is high. AccuWeather meteorologist Chad Merrill says there is a large area at risk for these long-track tornadoes.
Another concern, nighttime tornadoes when people really can't see them.
What folks need to be mindful of, first of all, these storms will produce prolific amounts of rain. So you'll probably see the rain before any type of severe weather. However, that being said, that's not the only precursor to a potential tornado. The wind picking up pretty quickly outside of your location would be a sign. So if you see the trees swaying in the wind, that's a sign. Also, as these storms approach, you might hear what sounds like a freight train. That's an indication that the tornado is very close by. So those are some of the precautions or some of the things to listen to. Very well could be a squall line of thunderstorms that come through with embedded tornadoes within that squall line. Another example of a large, widespread, wide-scale type of event that produces damage is in the summer we see these things called derechos, which are thunderstorm clusters that can produce winds of 80 miles per hour that run a large span of area across parts of the Midwest in the summer that produce prolific amounts of damage. So those two types of systems, squall lines and derechos, can produce as much or even more damage than a tornado.
That's what you're looking at with what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, so there is that very high potential for a squall line, and embedded within that squall line, there will be several tornadoes as well. Before that squall line even starts to develop, there will likely be storms that produce a couple of tornadoes even out ahead of that squall line.
Chad, you mentioned about the late afternoon, evening, the night, even into Tuesday. That's a pretty long time, so it doesn't sound like it's a fast mover.
Yeah, so first of all, there's going to be a few thunderstorms early. Those thunderstorms that come through could have a good bit of thunder and some lightning, but likely not wind. The severe risk will come later in the day, afternoon, and through the early part of Tuesday is when we have that risk, significant risk for damaging winds, tornadoes, and large hail. Another thing to keep in mind, you mentioned earlier the rain-wrapped tornadoes. It's very difficult to see, or these tornadoes if they have a lot of moisture around them. There's also the risk for flash flooding in these storms as well. So these storms come with a full gamut of threats. The threats wind down late tomorrow night through the first part of Tuesday. And then Tuesday is pleasant with lower humidity and temperatures right around 71. So we have that time span from morning when the first couple of thunderstorms come through, get a little bit of a break, and then afternoon through the early part of Tuesday is when we expect that severe weather to roll through the St. Louis area.
What about Metro East, our Illinois counties, St. Clair and Madison, those areas?
Yes, those areas are also included in the highest tornado risk. I mentioned that it runs from I-80 to I-70. The eastward extent goes all the way into central parts of Illinois, so Springfield, all the way down to areas just to the east of St. Louis. So it's pretty much your entire listening area is at risk for long, tracked, and strong tornadoes.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Maria, thank you very much. We'll continue to update you on the weather threats each 10 minutes here on Total Information AM. A Metro East man paid thousands to kill a Collinsville woman and is sentenced to life in prison. More from KMOX's Ivy Lyons.
46-year-old Gary D. Johnson will serve a natural life sentence behind bars for killing Portia Rowland in January 2025. The murder-for-hire plot appeared to involve two other men, 37-year-old Sammy Schaefer Jr. of Caseyville and 34-year-old Marty Shaw of Collinsville, who paid Johnson $10,000 to pull the trigger. Portia Rowland's stepfather, Bob Mueller, sharing the reasons he believes Johnson deserved the maximum sentence handed down in court Thursday.
We all know far too well that putting them away forever won't bring Portia back, but it will make this broken world a better place.
Johnson's previous St. Clair County murder charge solidified a mandatory sentence of life in prison. Schaefer and Shaw are still awaiting trial. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX, and it is Derby Week. And you can bet the Kentucky Derby on FanDuel, where you can also bet on baseball and basketball and hockey and all that stuff as well. And right now, though, there's a special for those that are ready for the Derby. You can get a Derby bet reset. So that means you'll get racing bonuses back if your bet doesn't win. And, of course, it's an app that's super easy to use. I've been using it for years. And you don't have to be a horse racing expert to get in on the Derby Day action. Lord knows I'm not. So you can bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports on FanDuel. And remember that Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks are registered trademarks of Churchill Downs Incorporated. You also must be 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Verified FD racing account required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable racing site credit that expires 9 days after receipt. Max refund is $10 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. You can see terms at racing.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, May 6th and May 7th. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
Spring cleaning rule number 1, out with the old, in with the new. And frankly, your family's old internet connection is a dinosaur. Upgrade to the 1 gig modern family standard from i3 Broadband. It's 100% true in-home fiber with equal upload and download speeds, so your teenagers gaming won't crash their video call. Even better, we're currently offering our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. Say goodbye to exploding promo prices and hello to budget certainty. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It is 63 degrees and it's still stormy out there, but it looks like downtown we've got a little bit of a break here right now. Let's see. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Tom Ackerman, and we're going to check in with Roger Brand here and see what's happening on the roadways from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I did get some confirmation from ODOT just a couple minutes ago, Debbie, about those signals. They are malfunctioning at Fiedler. Northbound 141 is backed up south of 21 because of it. And I have to think it's the same situation we have on 30 because we have jams that haven't gotten any better. Eastbound 30 at Little Brennan, it's backed up through Dillon, and then again, eastbound Highway 30 has a jam as you get in through that area past headed in toward from like Valley Dell, headed through Northwest Boulevard to Gravois Bluff. So I think it's the same scenario at that location. Northbound 270, Tesson Ferry through Gravois, Big Bend all the way up through 64 is busy. Southbound 270, Olive down through 64 is heavy. Still have some slow traffic on 364 east to Youngerman through Junk Station. That was because of an earlier crash. Northbound 55, slow traffic from 67 up through Highway A as you enter that work zone. From about Bayless all the way up through Virginia is heavy. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 is still slow at 159, and still seeing this jam on northbound Route 3. Not quite as bad, but still from north of Jerome headed up through Monsanto. We had a train crossing there earlier. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, we have some calm in the St. Louis area after heavy rain and thunderstorms blew through here early this morning and in the overnight hours. We still have some rain hanging around Edwardsville and just east of Bethalto. Also, North St. Charles County, Newtown is getting wet right now. Hazelwood and right around Lambert Airport, Berkeley, Ferguson getting some rain. Otherwise, we're clear at the moment. But AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer says we have some heavy thunderstorms and severe weather coming in later this afternoon and evening. Damaging winds as large as baseball-sized hail, even tornadoes are part of this. Otherwise, we're going to see clouds, windy and warm conditions today and a high of 82 degrees, clearing and cooler overnight with a low of 53. It's 63 right now.
We do have some weather-related closures. St. Louis Public Schools will be dismissing students early and canceling all after-school activities today. The district announcing that students will be dismissed at 3 p.m. and all aftercare programs will close immediately following the early dismissal. All district events and athletics scheduled for tonight have been canceled.
The Fox C School District will dismiss students 3 hours early today, in addition to canceling all after-school activities, practices, and events. Both AM and PM sessions at Don Earl Early Childhood Center are canceled as well.
The Lincoln County School District announcing they will dismiss students at 2 p.m. today, and Wright City School District releasing students between 11 and 1, depending on the school.
Should there be widespread power outages, Ameren, Missouri, and Illinois have been making preparations. This is spokesman Brian Bretsch saying crews are standing by.
We've been monitoring the weather closely in Missouri and Illinois and putting together a plan, and we'll follow our logistics plan that we put in place before every single storm. So we will do that.
Bretsch says ahead of the storm, fill your car with gas, charge all devices, including laptops, and sign up for Ameren alerts that provide outage information and restoration times.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. At 7:34, your Money Minute is next.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Your Money Minute at 7:35, sponsored by Busey Bank. Let's get the latest from Bloomberg.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. More than 3 years after acquiring Twitter, Elon Musk says he's nearing his goal of turning his social network X into an everything app with a new financial services tool. X Money is expected to launch this month. Some of the perks include 3% cash back on eligible purchases and a 6% interest rate on cash savings. Turning to trading, futures are lower as we begin a new trading week. Stocks closed at record highs on Friday. Earnings will be front and center this week. We'll hear from Microsoft, Google parent Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, and Apple. We'll also get a Federal Reserve rate decision on Wednesday. And real estate firm RE/MAX is set to be sold to tech-focused The Real Brokerage. According to the Wall Street Journal, the deal is valued at $550 million. Real estate firms have been consolidating to gain market share. The combined company will be known as Real RE/MAX Group and will have more than 180,000 agents. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Let me tell you about Gammetry Experts and give you a phone number you should probably have in your phone. This is a 24-hour line, 314-470-1320. 314-470-1320. The reason I'm giving you this number from Gammetry Experts, it's available 24 hours a day, and it is specifically for storm damage. Because what we're about to see today, if the forecast and hits your area with the high winds and the damage that can do, it can take down trees, it can take down limbs. We've had that situation. My mom's house, we had a limb come down, take out their front porch. Gammetry Experts came right away and took everything out of there, cleared that. And when Mother Nature strikes, sometimes the best efforts of a regular tree maintenance program still can't prevent the kind of tree damage caused by high winds and tornadoes. Gammetry Experts, 314-470-1320. Your trees deserve the best care.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
Curative, that's a complex decision that involves what we call multidisciplinary care. So that involves a surgeon, a medical oncologist, radiation oncologist. So you need the expertise, and that's something that we have here at Siteman, especially geared for these esophageal cancer patients.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Visit siteman.washu.edu.
Beat the spring cleaning rush at Zero Res. This week, buy one room of carpet, get one cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms and whole system air duct cleaning for just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Tonight, the Cards, the Pirates.
Cameron Total Access 445. First pitch 540.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:40, and this is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change with these jams in Jefferson County, Debbie. This traffic reports the service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck, eastbound 30 from about Dillon into Little Brennan's, bumper to bumper. It backs up again from near Valley Dell all the way in through to Gravois Bluffs. It's signal problems. I know they're malfunctioning on 141 at Fiedler, and 141 is backed up south of 21 northbound right now because of that problem there. If you're on northbound 55, there's a jam north of 67 through A. Looks like an incident there. Bayless up through Virginia slow. North 270. North of 55 to Gravois kind of slow, and then 44 up to Manchester, a little busy approaching Clayton Road, and then past 64. South 270, Olive down to Ladue, typically slow. Eastbound 70, a little heavy. Earth City into 270. Eastbound 364 approaching Junk Station, a little heavy from an earlier crash. Eastbound 64, just a brief slowdown at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 doesn't look bad at all through there. Westbound 64 busy at 159. And northbound Route 3, that train's gone through Monsanto, although it's still pretty heavy coming up past Queenie right now. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare, what are you seeing for us in terms of this storm activity today?
Well, the good news is that right at the moment, the heaviest storms are pushing away from St. Louis. This is that early round that we had where storms came through with thunder, downpours, and some gusty winds. Now, that was just kind of an early warning shot. We do still have some showers scattered around the area, and those can continue to be around over the course of the morning hours. But as we get to around 3 p.m., we're going to start to see some heavier storms picking up once again. Storms can be severe late today into this evening. I think the worst of the weather is between about 3 and 9 p.m. That's when storms are going to be not only widespread, but they can also bring flooding downpours, damaging winds, large hail, and even tornadoes. The good news is that at least this is going to be a quick shot. These storms will not last even longer than an hour in any one given location. So that is going to be some good news. They come through very, very quickly. We'll go from 82 for a high between the showers and storms today down to a low of 53 as it clears behind the storms overnight. We'll have sun and some clouds with a high of 70 tomorrow. Still a pretty nice day, although there could be an afternoon thunder shower in some places. We turn out sunny and breezy and cool with a high of 66 Wednesday. We stay in the 60s and dry for Thursday and Friday. 63 in St. Peter's and in Florissant right now, 64 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 7:43. The suspect at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is scheduled for arraignment today in U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. So far, Cole Allen faces 2 charges. CBS's Anna Schechter says it appears social media of a certain kind had a big impact on the suspect.
Somebody who spent a lot of time exposed to social media, exposed to content through a specific lens. There was radicalization that happened that way, that he would think that he was justified in taking a train from California to Washington armed with knives, a shotgun, a semi-automatic pistol, and target administration officials in order of highest ranking to lowest in terms of who was top on his list.
President Donald Trump, in an exclusive interview with 60 Minutes about the White House Correspondents' shooting, says he wasn't worried. CBS News correspondent Nora O'Donnell spoke with the president and has more on what he had to say.
The president also said in our interview that he will return to this dinner if it can be scheduled within the next 30 days. He said he's busy, but this is an important dinner. It is for the White House Correspondents Association that through Republican and Democratic administration presses the president and their administration for press access. That's important. The president did appear after the attack to be more unified sort of in his voice, and he certainly was very reflective in our interview.
Jury selection set to begin in Oakland in a high-stakes lawsuit involving the founders of OpenAI. Elon Musk is suing Sam Altman and Greg Brockman, claiming the company shifted away its original nonprofit mission to prioritize profits. Musk is seeking tens of billions of dollars in damages. CBS News legal analyst Lori Levinson.
In any case, the judge will try to put this jury in place to hear this first liability phase. And down the road, the court will be deciding what, if any, damages are to be paid for a violation.
Yesterday at Busch Stadium, Michael McGreevy needed to have a good start for the Cardinals, and he did. He went 6 innings, allowed just 1 run on 5 hits, didn't walk anyone, and struck out 6. That's pretty much what you ask out of McGreevy at this stage in his career. He has an ERA of 2.97 on the season. Problem is, the Cardinals didn't give him any run support. A home run for J.J. Weatherholt. That happened in the 3rd inning, his 5th of the year. And a 6th inning blast by Nathan Church, his 5th of the year. But both of those were solo shots, and the Cardinals couldn't muster any more offense, and they lost the ball game 3-2 to the Mariners, got swept in the series. They still have a winning record, and they are 3.5 out of first in the NL Central, but they are tied with the Brewers at 3.5 back. The Pirates, who they will play starting tonight, are 2 back, Cubs 1 back, and the Reds lead the division with a record of 18-10. The Cardinals are 14-13. 5:40 start for the Cardinals and Pirates this evening. And here are the starters for this week. Monday starter tonight, Dustin May. Tomorrow, Kyle Leahy. Wednesday, Andre Palante. And Thursday for the day game against Paul Skeens, it's Hunter Dobbins making the start, his first start as a Cardinal. Now, his minor league rehab has gone pretty well, although his last start, he did walk too many and got knocked around a little bit. Dobbins, in that last start, had a 5th rehab start at Norfolk for Memphis. He threw 76 pitches over 4 innings. He allowed 3 runs on 4 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom talking to me about Dobbins.
Yeah, that wasn't his best outing in terms of results, but overall we've been pleased with how he's been throwing the ball and pleased with the stuff coming out of his hands. And that's really been the case since spring training. Again, our fans couldn't see it because in spring training everything was on the backfield, but he showed an arsenal that we think should be effective at the big league level. Love his personality and how he's wired. Our staff really came to enjoy that as well. There's a bit of an old school kind of gamer to him that we all really appreciate. And, regardless of the results yesterday, happy with his progression and coming back from a significant injury, significant surgery. He's getting to the point we wanted to use the last couple outings to get him on a little more of a normal schedule. And so he's getting to the point now where he can start to factor in soon. And it's something that we continue to talk about.
Hunter Dobbins making the start against the Pirates on Thursday afternoon for the Cardinals. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Colorado Avalanche have moved on to the next round. They swept the Kings in 4 games, beat them 5-1 yesterday. Buffalo crushed Boston 6-1 to take a 3-1 series lead. Tampa Bay beat Montreal 3-2 to even that series of 2 games apiece. And Anaheim won at home against Edmonton 4-3 in overtime. They take a 3-1 series lead on the Oilers. Houston down 3-1 to the Lakers. Boston up 3-1 on the Sixers. Portland down 3-1 to the Spurs, and Toronto and Cleveland are even at 2 apiece. That's what's going on in the NBA playoffs. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals. How about the parlay of the day? Sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. And let's look at today's NBA games. Detroit at Orlando. I've been impressed with Orlando lately. They are a 3-point underdog at home against the Pistons. I might ride that again. Orlando +3. Oklahoma City, can they close out Phoenix tonight? I think they can. Can they do it by more than 10.5 points? I'm going to say yes. Oklahoma City -10.5, reluctantly, though. Denver at home against Minnesota. That one's a 9:30 tip. They're an 11-point favorite against a Minnesota team that's hampered by injuries. I might do that too. I think Denver could drop the hammer on Minnesota to keep their season alive. I'll take them -11. It's 7:49.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circasports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circa Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the 3rd leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is right into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Now the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:51, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, no change on our Jeffco jams, Debbie. Eastbound Highway 30 still backed up approaching Dillon into Little Brennan. Signal problems there, and then it's backed up approaching Valley Dell all the way into Gravois Bluffs because of signal problems. Same thing on northbound 141, well, 141 at Fiedler, but northbound 141's jammed south of 21 because of it. Lindbergh at Sappington, signal problems. Northbound Lindbergh's backed up at Baptist Church. Southbound is backed up to Gravois. Northbound 55, you've still got heavy traffic from Bayless all the way up through Virginia. Northbound 270 slow. Tesson Ferry through Sappington, north of 44, all the way up to Clayton Road, and then 64 to Ladue. Southbound 270 at Ladue is a little busy. 364 east of Youngerman through Jung Station, still slow where he had an earlier crash. South 170, a couple of busy spots south of Olive down to 64. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley, slow. And then Lindbergh out to Spady's kind of busy after that. Illinois side, everything looks good. In fact, Route 3 is pretty well cleared out coming up to the bridge as well. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire says we are going to see some severe weather coming in starting this afternoon into this evening. We've already had a round this morning. That has pretty much cleared us all. And for later, this is where it gets severe. Damaging winds, large hail, baseball-sized hail, and even tornadoes could all be in play today. We're looking at somewhere in the vicinity of 4 p.m. lasting into the evening. As for pinpointing the location, that's hard to say right now. Still some uncertainty on that. We do know the timing of it. This afternoon into this evening, severe weather alerts are going to be coming in fast and furious from the AccuWeather office. We're looking at a high today of 82, windy and warm conditions, and a cool night tonight, a low of 53. So as you can imagine, when that hot air meets that cold front, that's when we get into some trouble around here. We're looking right now at a cloudy sky and 64 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Viral video shows a large fight between young people at Six Flags on Saturday. That was the opening day of the 2026 season. Some 30 police officers responded, including cops from surrounding areas. The reports are that young male teens wearing face masks stood around the park verbally threatening Six Flags patrons. Police haven't released any information on whether there were any arrests.
We have a very limited set of patients when it comes to unruly behavior.
KMOX's Michael Calhoun asked the CEO of Enchanted Parks, which just took over the St. Louis theme park from Six Flags, about this very scenario during their interview on Friday, the day before the opening night fight.
Chaperone policies.
I want to be inclusive and allow kids to come and be kids and have a good time. But if the market proves that they can't behave themselves, then we'll probably have to follow the trend that's going around the industry.
Enchanted CEO James Harhide, the park began the season without a chaperone policy. We will let you know if that changes.
Cities in St. Louis County are exploring a significant consolidation of services.
Fire departments could combine as Clayton, Richmond Heights, Maplewood, Webster Groves, and Shrewsbury are all looking into the kind of economic benefits consolidation could have. Clayton Mayor Bridget McAndrew says they're not going to sacrifice safety in any consolidation.
We would never want to reduce the quality of the service. And arguably, this would only, this would certainly keep service at the same or make it even better.
McAndrew says the study has not yet begun, but the local fire unions will be involved. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's 7:56.
I'm Tom Ackerman. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Let's talk about McKelvey Homes, McKelveyhomes.com. What a great, great company they are. Since 1898, Missouri's oldest home builder and the best. It's always nice to know that McKelvey Homes is there for you, building home sites throughout the area and building beautiful homes on them. This is a wonderful thing. It's called Strawberry Farms. They're about to have their ribbon cutting there. And McKelvey Homes has 2 communities worth your time to talk about. Cottleville Trails. You can save up to $83,000 on move-in ready homes, just a short walk or golf cart ride to Main Street, Cottleville. Well, you will find loads of restaurants, bars, and shops. And brand new Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. The new display is open with special opening savings. McKelvey has been building in St. Louis since 1898, helping families here. You will get legendary quality, prime locations, and people who stand for our community. McKelvey's event offering up to May 31st. It's their spring event. You can save a lot of money. For details, go to McKelveyHomes.com. McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Presented by Worldwide Technology, the Biz-5K is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, a high-energy corporate race in St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Thursday, May 7th at Energizer Park. Register your team at stlbiz-.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's still no change on Highway 30 with our jams. Eastbound 30 approaching Dillon to Little Brennan, and again approaching Valley Dell up through Gravois Bluff. Signal problems, and 141 you're in the same boat. The signals at Fiedler, northbound 141 have you jammed back south of 21. Also Lindbergh at Sappington, signal problems. Southbound's jammed at Gravois. Northbound's about midway back to Baptist Church. Eastbound 64 a little heavy through the Interbelt. A couple of pockets north 270, 44 up to Ladue where it's busy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
St. Louis sits right in the middle of what could be one of the season's worst severe weather outbreaks. Megan Lynch will get more on the timing of storms from AccuWeather senior meteorologist Tyler Royce after the news.
CBS News White House correspondent Olivia Rinaldi was at the correspondents' dinner when an armed gunman ran through the hotel. She'll have the latest.
If you're on GLP-1 weight loss drugs, you need to pay extra attention to your nutrition. We get advice from a registered dietitian and counselor. I'll be back for the Gas House Gang at noon with Chris Ranji. We look forward to that, as always, with MLB Network's Greg Amsinger as the Cardinals begin a series in Pittsburgh. It's 8.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The suspect in Saturday night's attack at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a 31-year-old teacher from Torrance, California, is set to make his first court appearance in Washington, D.C. today. Family members say they received an email right before. CBS's Anna Schechter.
The people that we've spoken to are shocked. They saw no signs of this. But his sister, who was interviewed after the incident, did talk about radical rhetoric, and those are her terms, or at least what officials have told us, talked about how he needed to do something to fix the current state of affairs.
Secret Service agents managed to take him down before he could get to the ballroom where President Trump and the First Lady were seated on stage. The Correspondents Association president, CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang, was seated next to the president. Her parents, her husband, and their 7-year-old daughter were all in the audience.
She was very scared, but we had a few conversations about how most of the people in this world, almost everybody in this world, are good people. And when there are bad people, there are also police and law enforcement and people there to keep us safe, which is exactly what happened.
Ouija sheltered under the head table until agents could escort her out. Life goes on at the White House. King Charles and Queen Camilla will meet with the president today. CBS's Holly Williams from London.
In Washington, plans are going ahead for a state banquet, and the king will address a joint session of Congress.
I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it.
The king's visit could help reset the UK's relationship with President Trump, who recently criticised the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, for his reluctant response to the Iran war.
Jury selection is set to begin in Oakland, California today in a lawsuit involving the founders of OpenAI in a suit brought by Elon Musk. Loyola Law's Lori Levinson.
Musk, who is the co-founder of OpenAI, now has his own AI, XAI. And so Sam Altman is saying what this lawsuit is really about is Musk being a competitor and wanting to have the advantage.
The last surviving member of a 1960s girl group has died. Nedra Tally Ross performed with her cousins Ronnie Spector and Estelle Bennett when they were teenagers. They formed the Ronettes in 1957. In 2007, they were inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. Tally Ross was 80. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, April 27th. I'm Megan Lynch.
So what folks need to be mindful of, first of all, these storms will produce prolific amounts of rain.
AccuWeather meteorologist Chad Merrill tells KMOX the severe storms will likely start moving in the bi-state late afternoon into evening.
You'll probably see the rain before any type of severe weather. However, that being said, that's not the only precursor to a potential tornado. The wind picking up pretty quickly outside of your location would be a sign. So if you see the trees swaying in the wind, that's a sign.
Merrill says that freight train sound is another sign a tornado is very near. And Merrill says it's extremely important to have 3 different ways to receive warnings: the regular radio, a weather radio, cell phone, and the TV, if possible. We will get an in-depth look at what this dangerous weather could bring us with AccuWeather meteorologist Tyler Royce coming up this morning at 8:11. St. Louis Public Schools dismissing students early and canceling all after-school activities following threats of severe weather. The district has announced students will be dismissed 2 hours early, with all aftercare programs to close immediately following dismissal. All district events and athletics that were scheduled for tonight have been canceled as well. Several other schools in the St. Louis region are dismissing classes early today due to severe weather threats. The Fox C6 School District will dismiss students 3 hours early, in addition to canceling all after-school activities, practices, and events. Both AM and PM sessions at Don Earl Early Childhood Center are canceled. The Lincoln County School District has announced they'll dismiss students at 2 p.m. today. Wright City School District will release their students between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., with the times fluctuating per school. And the Northwest School District will release secondary students around 11:45 a.m., elementary students at 1 p.m. All of the school's after-school activities are canceled, including Northwest Lion Care and afternoon Jefferson College ATS classes.
You want to make sure that your devices that you use, your iPhones, your iPad, all of your devices that you use for information, you want to have those fully charged.
If the storms are as severe as predicted, Ameren spokesman Brian Brecht says if the power does go out, have all your devices charged so you'll have access to power outage maps and estimates on restoration.
Make sure that your home emergency kit is restocked and replenished. And you can go to Ameren.com and look for the items that you should have in there. But just a couple of basic items. Make sure you have like a gallon of water per person handy, and Make sure you have some loose bills, some small change. Make sure you have some of your medication. And you want to put that in a plastic tub.
Also have extra pet food and medicines for your pets, extra batteries, a flashlight, and a radio that can be operated on batteries. A lightning strike to blame for an early morning house fire near DeSoto. The fire started around 2 a.m. in the garage of a home on a rural road just south of DeSoto. A fire captain with the DeSoto Rural Fire Protection District says the strike caused the fire, which mainly impacted the garage and electrical system of the home. While people were home at the time of the fire, there were no injuries reported. Viral video showing a large fight between young people at Six Flags in Eureka Saturday, the opening of the 2026 season. 30 police officers responded, including from surrounding areas. There are reports that young male teens wearing face masks stood throughout the park, verbally threatening Six Flags patrons. Police have not released any information on whether there were arrests. Average gas prices in St. Louis, 2 cents cheaper today than they were last Monday. According to Gas Buddy, the average price per gallon is $3.93 today for a gallon of regular unleaded. That's about $1.50 cheaper than the national average. From the KMOX business desk, it looks like the rapid expansion of urgent cares in the region is over for now. Total Access Urgent Care, the biggest operator of urgent cares in the region, has closed 5 of its clinics due to lack of patients. 3 of those locations opened less than a year ago: Webster Groves, Kirkwood, and University City. The Ellisville and Chesterfield locations have closed as well. The Business Journal reporting nationwide urgent care visits are down. A 2025 study showed that urgent care visits declined 12% from 2022 to 2023, while the number of urgent care clinics had doubled between 2014 and 2023. We're going to get an update on traffic and weather and then go in depth on the storm systems that are headed our way. That's all in 2 minutes here on Total Information AM. It's 8:08.
Don't miss a baseball showdown at Busch Stadium when Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers roll into the Lou May 1st through the 3rd. Kick off the weekend with Friday Night Live and a must-have short-sleeve hoodie giveaway. Saturday brings a Mason Wynn bobblehead celebrating his Gold Glove Award. Then Sunday features a sleek blade collar shirt giveaway. Big names, big matchups, and big giveaways all weekend long. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Mason Wynn. Get your tickets at cardinals.com.
The 1-2, and that's grounded up the middle. Diving play. Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He got him.
What's up, Cardinals fans? Mason Wynn here. On Saturday, May 2nd, when we face the Dodgers, you can take home the Mason Wynn Gold Glove bobblehead presented by the Shane Company. It's got my chain, my first gold glove, my whole look, just how I rock it. Plus, a few rare all-gold baubles will be randomly mixed in for 500 lucky fans. This is one you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotion.
Let's talk about Air Medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life and death. Arch Air Medical Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, time to check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, unfortunately, there's still no change, Megan, with our Jeffco jams due to signal problems on Highway 30 eastbound. You're jammed Dillon up to Little Brennan. You're jammed again Valley Dell up to Gravois Bluffs, and northbound 141 approaching 21 up to Fiedler. All those bumper-to-bumper solid jams. They haven't changed in over an hour, I don't think, all due to signal problems. So Lindbergh at Sappington, there's signal problems. Northbound Lindbergh jammed about midway back to Baptist Church. Southbound, pretty negligible delays at this point. If you're on northbound 270, you've got heavy traffic north of Manchester up through 64 Ladue. It looks like an incident at the top end of it there. Eastbound 64 McKnight into Big Bend. Slow westbound 64 McCausland headed out to Hanley's, kind of busy. Other than that, the rest of the highways have thinned out and are looking pretty good. Downtown, I don't see any delays for Illinois drivers coming in either. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather will have rounds of showers and thunderstorms today. Any thunderstorm can bring heavy rain and gusty winds, but severe weather is likely late today into this evening. Watch then for damaging winds, large hail, even tornadoes. Otherwise, variable clouds, windy and warm today with a high of 82. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis is in the bullseye for severe storms expected to rip through the region today. AccuWeather experts tell us they will likely be among the season's worst and most expansive severe weather outbreaks. Included in the risk for severe weather will be the threat of multiple strong and long track tornadoes. So let's get the latest. AccuWeather senior meteorologist Tyler Rose joins me now from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Storm Center. Tyler, thanks for being with me this morning.
Of course. And the latest outlook just came out within the last, I would say, 10, 15 minutes ago. And we're really honing in on those details that we have out there for what we can expect later today.
How big is this storm system, Tyler?
Well, the storm itself goes all the way into Canada, all the way down into the southern plains. But the where we are in St. Louis has prime conditions to see the most explosive thunderstorms, and not just one round. We're expecting a couple of rounds throughout the day today. That we're worried that can bring some significant severe weather to the area.
As you may have heard, a lot of schools in our area already canceling after school activities. Some are letting out early. What do we know right now about the timing of the worst points of this severe weather?
Yeah. So first is the squall line that's moving just north of the St. Louis area. That's going to go towards Louisiana, Bowling Green, Pittsfield, Illinois. That's going to be over the next several hours. That same squall line is going through Columbia now and is going to be kind of moving through the northern parts of the listening area. So Troy, Jerseyville, Illinois, Montgomery City. That could have some damaging winds, but could also have some large hail associated with it. So that's going to be over relatively the next several hours. That line should stay away from downtown St. Louis. But as we go into this afternoon, we expect some more thunderstorms to develop, and it's starting to look like about that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock time frame as people are start going home from work, start going home from school, that these supercells can start to fire up across the St. Louis metro area and central Missouri and start to race eastward. The likelihood of areas for these supercell thunderstorms, specifically, basically the whole area is under the gun for development from that.
You're listening to AccuWeather senior meteorologist Tyler Royce. Tyler, we mentioned at the start that there's the threat of multiple strong and long track tornadoes. What are we expecting with that?
Yeah, so these with this latest outlook, that is the what the Storm Prediction Center is going out with, and with these numerous supercells that we do expect, the conditions, the atmosphere is primed for these supercells to last several hours, to track over 50, 100, 150 miles. Now, will these supercells have a tornado along the whole way of its life? Probably not, but tornadoes typically last maybe a mile, maybe half a mile. So something that lasts 4, 5, 10 miles, 25 miles, that's when you start to get into a long track situations. So for us to be able to go out and say that there's going to be numerous of these, it's very concerning that everyone should have their phones charged, they should have the AccuWeather app on there, because then they get automatic the warnings automatically go to their phone right away once the NWS issues the tornado warning. So then everyone could take shelter.
When it comes to what we could expect just beyond tornadoes, when it comes to wind and the damage that could cause, what are the predictions right now of the wind speeds?
So the wind speeds that we were expecting from these thunderstorms could be 50, 60 miles per hour, which it doesn't seem to be a lot. But when they all come all at one time, trees aren't, especially as they're coming with leaves, trees become more dangerous to break apart or to fall with these strong gusts. Some of the strongest thunderstorms could produce wind gusts up to 80 and 90 mile per hour winds. And those are going to be with more like what we are seeing just north of St. Louis right now, along that squall line. Could be seeing 70, 80 mile per hour winds associated with that as it marches eastward. And again, trees are starting to bloom. The leaves are largely coming out or already out. So when you get these strong winds, it's not like wintertime where the trees can just blow around and some twigs or some branches fall off. It's almost like the wind is also going to try to be like lifting the trees up as they move the leaves around as well. So it adds more, there's really, to put it, there's more oomph with these leaves to add that leads to more damaged threat from these winds.
What about flooding? I imagine we are going to have some pretty significant downpours.
Those areas that typically deal with poor drainage, low-lying flooding, that it seems that any thunderstorm, the roads flood, those areas are the most high susceptible. Again, I keep at the moment, I keep saying north of St. Louis right now. That's the area where we do see a lot of flood warnings going to be going up. There's a whole slew of them from Kansas City on east. And once these supercells develop, they can produce a lot of rain very quickly within a 30-minute time span. That if it was I say normal, but what would be a steadier rain would take over maybe several hours. Instead, this is happening in 20, 30 minutes. So the duration and the intensity of the rain will make travel very difficult. And then poor drainage areas are definitely going to struggle having all that water come through, especially in drainage areas.
Tyler, one last question for you. You mentioned making sure we have app access to the radio so folks can stay with KMOX. When it comes to where we physically need to be, how do we stay safe?
Need to be in the lowest level of the building. So whether it is the basement or if there is no basement, the first floor, and it needs to be an interior room, specifically if it is an interior bathroom. That is where the research has shown in the footage of, we could take a look at footage from recent events where most likely the best chance of survival is there. And then to add on to that, it seems silly to think about, but making sure if you're at home and you're doing this, make sure you have your shoes on. If you have bicycle helmets, put them on too. And so some of that is not necessarily during the storm, but if your area does get struck, that if there's any lingering falling debris afterwards, you're protected. Or if you walk out, your shoes, your feet are protected, versus if you're just walking with socks or just barefoot following a storm.
Tyler, thank you so much. Appreciate your time with us this morning.
You're welcome. You guys have a great day and stay safe.
Will do. That is AccuWeather meteorologist Tyler Roy is joining us. And make sure you stay with KMOX throughout the day and tonight. We're going to have updates for you on this severe storm. Coming up next on Total Information AM, we're going to tell you more about a SLU forum on voting and how to get engaged. And then CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi is going to join me. She was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner when an armed gunman tried to enter that ballroom, and she's going to have the latest for us this morning. Let's get the latest on the roads now. Of course, the storms knocked out some signals. Roger Brand has more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we still have those backups, unfortunately, Megan. This traffic report's a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. So if you're coming in on Highway 30, a little east of Dillon Road up to Little Brennan, you're still bumper to bumper. Valley Dell into Gravois Bluffs, it's still backed up. Northbound 21, or excuse me, northbound 141 north of 21 now. Let's call it south of Romaine Creek to Fiedler, so that's getting a little bit better. It also doesn't look quite as bad, but Lindbergh at Sappington, that northbound jam still about midway back to Baptist Church. Other than that, we just have slowdowns on the highways. North 270 north of Manchester up to Ladou's kind of busy. Eastbound 64 from west of McKnight to the Interbelt slow. They cleared an incident at Big Bend on westbound 64. Clayton Skinker out through that point. Still kind of heavy, but the rest of the highways right now look to be in pretty good shape on both sides of the river. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And as you just heard here on KMOX, we're going to be facing rounds of severe showers and thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon and evening. A high of 82 degrees. Stay with KMOX for the latest on that severe weather, clearing and cooler overnight with a low of 53. And then tomorrow we'll see some sunshine, but also another threat of a thunderstorm, a high near 70. Right now we have 64 degrees downtown at the Arch.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. How much do you trust the election process? A forum tonight at St. Louis University will look at what builds trust, how Missouri voters experience democracy, and what barriers get in the way of participation. I got a preview from Steve Rogers, St. Louis University political science professor and head of the SLU YouGov poll.
The purpose of the forum is going to be to have a larger conversation with St. Louisans and Missourians about elections in our state. And so then here we can see both, like, say, national news with Donald Trump talking about things like the SAVE Act, or more locally within the state, Secretary of State Dennis Hoskins repeatedly kind of emphasizing the importance of having trust and confidence in elections. And so what we wanted to do is bring experts on elections together in order to have a conversation about what Missourians kind of think about, say, the confidence in their fairness and trust in elections, along with different policies that the Missouri legislature has been considering in the last year or so.
Steve, I know you've done some polling on trust in elections. What do we know right now about how Missourians feel about that?
So Missourians actually are very relatively confident and trusting in their elections, at least as compared to all Americans. And so what we did with the SLU YouGov poll is in February, asked 900 likely Missouri voters, how confident are you that the election this November in Missouri will be run and administered fairly?
And in here, 82% of Missouri voters expressed confidence that the elections will be run and administered fairly. And so in this is a bipartisan issue in which Republicans are more trusting to Democrats, where Republicans 91% are confident that elections will be run fairly. But even 75% of Democrats in this red state think that they're going to be run fairly. And in here, this 82% number for the entire state is actually relatively high. Because if we actually look at a poll that was conducted a couple weeks after us by Marist, they found across the country and American adults, only 66% of Americans have confidence that elections in their state and localities will be run and administered fairly. And so here what we can kind of see is that, like, relative to the country, Missourians by about 16% have more confidence in our elections.
Steve, I'm curious, and I've heard over the years, that really when we talk about people that are highly engaged in both the election process and just in civic involvement overall, that it really is a pretty small percentage. Would you say that's still the case?
I would say that is probably still the case. So overall, particularly at the state and local level, people don't necessarily have as much information about, say, their state legislature or their state government. And then here, oftentimes what we may see is that maybe there's certain individuals who are showing up to these, say, town halls on data centers or their local school board meeting. And so civic engagement itself isn't as probably high as what we would want necessarily in a democracy. But Missouri voters are open to the idea of kind of like increasing ways that they can have access to kind of engage in politics.
How concerned are you about any barriers to participation at this point?
So I do think there is probably some concern about barriers themselves. And so then in this, probably is the normative question, but then we probably want to have as many people be able to participate in our democracy as possible. That's kind of like what's fundamental to democracy. And in here, what we can kind of think about a little bit is that there may be some things that inhibit people from going to vote. And so in this, we can kind of think about, we're in our cars right now, maybe driving to work or driving home from work, dropping the kids off of school, and that takes a lot of time. And then here on the fundamental act of voting, for example, it may be a little bit challenging if I have to wake up, drop off my kids, then work a 9-hour day, pick up my kids, go home. Where is there going to be this kind of time to vote? And so then here, I do think that there's potentially ways that we can make access more broader for individuals with maybe more busy schedules.
That's SLU Steve Rogers. The Every Voice, Every Vote Forum starts at 7 tonight at the Anheuser-Busch Auditorium in the Chaffetz School of Business. Registration is free at slu.edu/poll. Coming up, CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins me next. She was in the ballroom when shots rang out at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's now 8:28. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. Ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code WAGON.
for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WAGON for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's WAGON.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Well, we've had some problems out there, especially with signals. Let's get the latest from Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still got those delays on 30, not quite as bad, but they're still jammed, Megan. This traffic report service of SNL Coin. So if you're on eastbound 30, east of Dillon into Little Brennan and east of Valley Dell, maybe closer to Dolores and to Gravois Bluffs, you still got backed up traffic. And Romaine Creek to Fiedler, northbound 141, the heaviest part there. So again, that's improving a bit. There's still brief delays. Lindbergh at Sappington, those signals were malfunctioning earlier. Eastbound 64 at Spady, we had an incident sort of slow coming off the South 270 ramp to there. And westbound 64, it looks like they cleared the incident at Big Bend. I can't see it, but traffic's still backing up west of Hampton, headed into that area right now. Other than that, the rest of the highway is looking pretty good. In fact, on the Illinois side, I don't see any delays at all. So these other highways are moving pretty well right now. Next update at 8:40 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we are dealing with multiple rounds of severe weather today. Stay with KMOX for the latest and listen for alerts. It looks like the worst of it to hit the St. Louis region itself will be this afternoon and this evening. We could see tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. A high 82 degrees today, clear and cool overnight, a low 53. Right now we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. The man accused of shooting a U.S. Secret Service agent as he tried to breach security at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where President Trump and the First Lady were in attendance, is expected in court today. CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi was at the dinner. She joins me now. Olivia, thank you for being with us this morning.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You have to still be trying to process what happened this weekend.
Yeah, I think it happened so quickly. And it was shocking. We were at the tables closest to the doors in which the shooting happened. So we knew pretty immediately what this was. And I think the fear of just the magnitude and how bad it could have been certainly lingers with you, but also just extremely grateful that law enforcement did its job and that this was not worse, and that Secret Service agent who was shot is doing okay, and that ultimately, the Secret Service not barricaded, but they protected the ballroom, and that was their job.
What do we know about suspect Cole Allen?
So we actually know a lot. He kind of has a bit of a digital footprint. He's 31 years old. He's from Torrance, California. He was from Caltech. He was a teacher or some type of substitute teacher, well-educated guy, sent this manifesto out shortly before he ran downstairs and tried to start this shooting. And in the manifesto, he talks about his anger towards the Trump administration, towards Trump administration officials, saying that, the target is administration officials. He said starting at, the highest level and then as far down as he can get. And he said everyone else in the room isn't the target, but if they get hit, that would be okay because they are what he said was collateral for being there in the room. So he was tackled. He was not shot. He was tackled. And he was arrested on 2 counts, which will most certainly be bumped up. And he was arrested and will appear today in court. We don't know that he's cooperating, though, but his family members who received the missive that he sent out, the manifesto with all the information in it, have been cooperating. They have been talking to law enforcement. And in fact, his brother, after receiving it, reached out to law enforcement and we don't know if he was able to warn them before this happened or what, but his family is cooperating.
Olivia, do we know yet, as the White House said, how this might impact security at upcoming events in the next couple of weeks?
We don't know. We don't know. And we know there's a meeting that's going to happen today at the White House with the chief of staff and other members of the administration to talk about how they handle this and what they do going forward. You know, I was in Butler, Pennsylvania with the president when he was shot and that bullet grazed his ear in July 2024. And after that, there was no outdoor rallies. And if there were outdoor rallies, it was far more secure in a smaller location. And the president was behind bulletproof glass. There was a sense I got from Trump administration officials that indoor rallies were safer and would go on pretty easily as planned because the security plans are a little bit easier than an open outdoor event. I don't want to speculate, but I would imagine that this changes that thought process. But it's interesting. This hotel where it happened is the Washington Hilton. It's called the Hinckley Hilton because that's where Ronald Reagan was shot. So it's a site where this has happened before, where someone has tried an attempt, and it has security measures in place. It's one of those ballrooms that there's constantly events at here in Washington. The First Lady was there last Wednesday for a luncheon. So it's one of the biggest gathering spaces in Washington, considered very secure before this. Again, Secret Service did their jobs. They stopped the gunman. But there certainly has to be some reconsideration. We also have massive events that are happening this summer. I mean, we have the UFC fight on the lawn in June, F1 races later this summer around the Capitol, and we're hosting the World Cup here in the U.S. I mean, there's a lot of big events that are considered, national security events as well. And so this government is working hard to make sure that, everything and everyone will be safe.
Olivia, I'm glad you guys were safe. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning.
Thank you. Take care.
That is CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joining us this morning here on KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Shares of Qualcomm soaring this morning. A closely followed tech industry analyst suggested the chip maker is working with artificial intelligence giant OpenAI on a smartphone. The report says mass production is expected in 2028. No comment from either company. The S&P 500 hit a record high on Friday as the Justice Department dropped its investigation into the Federal Reserve and Chair Jay Powell. Plus, Intel delivered a blockbuster sales forecast that shattered Wall Street expectations. This morning, traders continue to watch developments out of the Middle East. Stock futures are little changed. And Spotify is now offering workout classes from Peloton to premium subscribers, marking the music streamer's first major move into fitness content. The new partnership will give access to a catalog of more than 1,400 ad-free workouts from some of Peloton's most popular wellness instructors. Spotify raised the price of its premium subscription to $13 in February. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Step into a fresher, cleaner home this spring with Zero Res. Spring is a time for renewal. Let Zero Res help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. Check out all of the raving customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. This week, buy one room of carpet cleaned, get one room of carpet cleaned for free. Unlimited rooms. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com. I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Let's check on the slowdowns. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got those backups on Highway 30, Megan, eastbound Dillon into Little Brennan and east of LeKinney Lane into Gravois Bluffs. Pretty solid jams there from signal problems. 141 at Fiedler, not as bad. Shorter delays, is not even jammed back quite to Romaine Creek, so it's a little better. There's a moving roadwork operation. Eastbound 64, it was right around Spady when I mentioned those delays earlier. It's approaching McKnight now. The right lane's blocked, so there's a little slowdown east of Lindbergh headed toward that one. Other than that, though, the rest of these highways look great. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm looking at what's happening on radar right now, and it looks like Mexico, Missouri, Hannibal, Quincy, all sitting on that massive squall line right now. There's some more storms that are to the northeast of the St. Louis area, mostly around Auburn, Springfield, Illinois. Make sure you stay with KMOX for the latest throughout the day and the evening when more of the storm system tracks through. We're looking for a high of 82 degrees today. And of course, we could see some severe thunderstorms throughout the afternoon and this evening. Overnight, it should clear with a low of 53. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. 1 in 8 Americans say they've used a GLP-1 drug like Ozempic or Wegovy for weight loss or chronic conditions. These drugs produce dramatic results, but there are also some downsides. And it begs the question, how many of these patients have consulted with a specialist in nutrition to have the best experience? I met up with Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian at Brands Nutrition.
Working with a dietitian, whether you are looking into starting a GLP-1, are currently on one, and or like if you are hoping to get off of one, very, very important to have a professional that's helping you with that. A lot of times these prescribing physicians, they just don't have the nutrition training, and they don't have those things to look out for whenever we're incorporating things that mess with hunger and fullness cues. So that's where dietitians come in.
What are some of the things that you advise people to do maybe when they first start on a GLP-1?
I advise them to regularly eat throughout the day. And if they don't feel hungry for a full meal, to still eat something. I've had a lot of clients that have started GLP-1s and they're just like, I don't like eating when I'm not hungry, and I'm not hungry, so I'm just not eating. So we go from maybe someone that might have felt a loss of control around food before, or felt like they overate, and then they start a GLP-1 and then they don't feel hungry anymore, so then they're not eating. And we swing on the other end of the spectrum where they're having issues with malnutrition, and they're not really thinking of that being a problem because they think, oh, well, I'm eating less and that's better because before I was eating too much. But really just skipping those meals is is going to be detrimental. So we want to start with breakfast. We want to make sure we have a lunch. Hopefully we can have some sort of snacks throughout the day, but also watching out for the restrict binge cycle that could still happen of like if you're not eating through the day, if you're still tending to like overeat at night, or your body's trying to get a full day's worth of fuel at one time, that can be a problem. Or you're not hungry for dinner either, and you're just not getting enough and you're not feeling that.
For a lot of people that are on GLP-1s, I know they're on it because of maybe other conditions that they've got to get under control, maybe for their heart or their endocrine system. If they're not eating properly, does that make that improvement that much harder?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things to consider whenever it comes to heart health, when it comes to the endocrine system. And if there was an issue with maybe an overabundance of like eating food, then it might feel like, okay, well, eating less is better. It's going to improve all these numbers. But if you end up reducing down your intake so much, you might notice at first there might be a reduction of cholesterol. At first, there might be a reduction of blood pressure. But then if you continue and become malnourished, then you might have issues with orthostatic symptoms, feeling lightheaded or dizzy, which is evident of heart damage. You might have issues with your hormone system getting messed up to where women might not have periods because they're not getting enough fuel for their endocrine system, and also the stress hormones that your body can incur too. So like, is not eating causing your body to feel more stressed because of that fight or flight mode activating, or maybe even eating food was a coping skill before, and now that coping skill felt like it got taken away because you're not feeling happy or comfortable with eating as much anymore. But you didn't have anybody to help you figure out what are alternatives whenever you're not using food as a coping skill.
A lot of people say they have some pretty severe gastrointestinal symptoms. Is there any way you can adapt how or what you are eating to try to alleviate some of that?
Yes. So a big aspect of GLP-1s is the way that our body is processing fat. So there tends to be some fat malabsorption issues. And so if you're having issues where like you're having greasy stool, where there's evidence that you're not absorbing fat in your diet, it could be helpful to reduce down the fat content of the things that you're consuming to reduce down the chances of that gastric distress. But there can be pros and cons with that too, because you need fat in order for your body to absorb fat soluble vitamins like vitamins A, D, E, and K. So knowing how to do that, not just cutting out fat, but being mindful of like what things seem to be causing gastric distress, and maybe limiting or avoiding some of those foods, but not cutting out entire groups of things altogether. And then maybe some over-the-counter options for gastric distress. So if you maybe need some sort of Tums or Pepto-Bismol or Miralax or Imodium as appropriate for those options. But if you're having fat malabsorption, then there are some other things too, like MCT oil is more bioavailable whenever you're having issues with fat digestion. So that could be a way for you to get some fat that's actually going to be absorbed if you're having difficulty absorbing that.
For someone who's working with a physician to taper off GLP-1s, what are some of the ways that you work with them to try to make that transition easier?
So the regularly eating through the day is definitely important that I emphasize with all of my clients. But if you're getting off of a GLP-1, you might start noticing that you're getting hunger cues coming back. So trying to reduce the risk of that restrict binge cycle that could be coming in, or even just the flood of having like more hunger cues, getting excited to eat things, it can be great. And it also can feel like this like Last Supper mentality. Your body doesn't know that you're not going to do this again. Like it might feel like it experienced a famine, and now it's like, okay, well, now we need to have overabundance. We need to consume as much as possible. We need to hibernate because it just experienced malnutrition. It just experienced a famine, and it doesn't know why. So make sure that you're regularly eating throughout the day, coordinating with a dietitian to deal with if you have overeating or binge eating kind of urges or behaviors coming back for you. And then trying to get in enough fuel for your body to maybe even incorporate movement. It might have had some muscle wasting, so making sure that you're preventing muscle wasting by continuing to have enough protein throughout the time that you're on it. And then when you're getting off of it, then maybe you're able to fuel your body even more. And then incorporation of more movement can be helpful too. Just being mindful that there is such thing as too much movement also. So fueling your body for the movement that it's doing and helping to try to preserve that muscle.
That is Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian at Brands Nutrition. Coming up, St. Louis County offering you a way to get out of minor traffic tickets without paying for it. I talk with St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Melissa Price-Smith next.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Is your financial advisor working more for your retirement or for his? Find out the real story behind the financial industry with Greg Ayler. Saturdays at 1 on Fire, Your Financial Advisor.
This is Tom Ackerman. Do you ever read the label on a Budweiser can or bottle? It says, "This is the famous Budweiser beer. We know of no brand produced by any other brewer which costs so much to brew and age. Our exclusive Beechwood aging produces a taste, a smoothness, and a drinkability you will find in no other beer at any price." Boy, is that true. The world-renowned Budweiser lager beer. St. Louis, Missouri. Budweiser is the king of beers. Budweiser is also the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. Brewed by the original process from the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, the king of beers is Budweiser. They're 150 years old, and so is Major League Baseball. Going back to 1876 for that clean, crisp taste, and no other beer can provide that. It's Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. The St. Louis County prosecutor is launching a new initiative that will offer alternatives to traditional penalties for minor traffic and municipal offenses. Melissa Price-Smith joins me now to talk about the infraction diversion program. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
What were you seeing that led to the development of this program?
Well, Megan, the main thing is we have a backlog of traffic tickets of over 6,000 old traffic tickets. So we are actually starting with those from 2021. The infraction diversion program is designed to help people take care of old traffic tickets that they just haven't gotten around to. So this program was put in place to really help them take care of them. It allows these participants to complete a certified class in lieu of a fine. Once they complete this class successfully, the infraction is dismissed. They don't get points on their license, and ultimately, their insurance is not increased.
What would you say to people who might argue this is too lenient?
Well, basically, my response to this is it focuses on education instead of punitive fines. And more importantly, first of all, it's also working with the community. And like I said, more importantly, it allows our prosecutors to focus on violent crimes, to not spend a lot of court time on traffic tickets, giving the community opportunities to take care of their tickets, get some education on driving, not have a fine, not have their insurance premiums go up because their points have increased.
So if we're talking about a backlog of 6,000, you said, who administers this and funnels these individuals into these education programs?
Well, we're starting earlier this week. We started with about 250 letters went out to individuals letting them know they had old traffic tickets. And monthly, we'll send out another few hundred to these individuals. Another thing about this program, which I find really special, is these mailings are being done by a company called Valley Industries. Valley Industries employs people with disabilities. We are actually looking forward to visiting Valley Industries in the next few weeks to thank them for their hard work and their important work in the community.
So when someone goes through this program and then does the same thing again, what happens?
Well, right now, these are for old tickets. These are for 2021 through 2024. That's what we are focusing on. So I think what you're asking is if they go through this program and then they get a ticket tomorrow. If they get a ticket tomorrow, they're going to be put on a court docket just like the traditional way is.
I'm curious where the thought for this came from. Have you seen this be effective in other municipalities?
I have not. When we came into office, we were looking at ways to take our office to the next level, to take care of some backlog of tickets. We are aware that a lot of these tickets occurred during COVID. We actually refer to them sometimes as the COVID backlog. And our goal was not only to catch up on old tickets, but to help people in the community take care of their old tickets that are probably just something in the back of their mind that they haven't thought of.
That is St. Louis County. What about concerns that people might have? And as you mentioned, these are years old, some of them, about the fact that the county might not be getting some of this revenue from some of these tickets.
Well, again, like I said, it's an effort to focus on education, not punitive fines. And more importantly, it allows our prosecutors to focus on serious crimes in court, not sitting in hour-long dockets, focusing on old traffic tickets. And, people also do have the option. They might ignore the letter. They might say, I'm not participating in this program. That's a choice they have. And then we will just ask the court to put these old tickets on the docket. And then they will need to appear in court, and then there will be the fine, as there has been in the past.
How will you measure this over time? How long do you think it might take to work through this?
Well, it's going to take a little time. Like I said, this week we are starting on about 250 letters going out. In the next 3 to 4 weeks, another 250 will go out. We have about 6,000 plus old tickets. So it's going to take some time. It'll be interesting over time to see how many people do participate in it and how many opt out and just go back on the docket. But we'll be able to measure it then and see how successful it is. And then we'll also be able to see what we can do with the tickets after 2024, the ones that were more recent but are still considered old.
What agencies are running the education programs, or is it just through your office?
No, there are education programs that are being offered where the individual can choose which education program. So there's nothing specific. There's no money being made by our office, anything like that. I don't have the name specifically, but when the participants do opt into this program, they're able to choose a driver's education program. There's not one in particular.
All right. So a lot of people will be looking for those letters. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
That is St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Melissa Price-Smith. And one note, the program does not include any serious traffic offenses like DWIs or high-speed tickets. Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM, the quest to add more protein into diets is helping farmers. I'll get more from Heather Schlitz of Reuters.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
New research on kids and cannabis use is sounding an alarm for parents and teenagers. UC San Diego researchers tracked more than 11,000 kids starting at ages 9 to 10 through ages 16 to 17 and found teen cannabis use is linked to slow. The takeaway, delaying cannabis use is the best way to protect a healthy developing brain. The study is published in Neuropsychopharmacology. I'm Margie Schaefer.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. that make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect.